Chapter 2719. As expected of the divine prohibition technique bestowed by the demon lord, even the bright sun demons can't resist it. An abyssal king was full of admiration. To be honest, this kind of restriction was not something that they could create. Everything came from a mysterious demon lord, and this demon lord was blessed by the abyss. It was also this demon lord that made the abyssal kings unite as one. Otherwise, they would always be a plate of loose sand, unable to completely unite. Of course, another important reason was the crushing defeat in the primordial era. It slapped them hard in the face and woke them up from their invincible state. They deeply realized that even though they came from the abyss, they weren't invincible. It was also because of this crushing defeat that they deeply realized their own shortcomings and were willing to accept other people's suggestions. If there's such a divine prohibition technique, then there's nothing to be afraid of these bright sun demons. They're just fish on the chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered. An abyssal king laughed heartily. He was in a good mood. Before, they had been bullied badly by the bright sun demons. These lunatics relied on their powerful strength and acted unscrupulously everywhere they went. They would devour many demons at the slightest provocation and acted as if they were the true lord of the abyss. And they were just food for the bright sun demons. The prideful abyssal kings couldn't stand this kind of humiliation. If it weren't for the big picture, they would have fought these bright sun demons to the death. How could they have survived until today? Ridiculous. How can it be so simple? Right now, we're only temporarily controlling these bright sun demons. We can only make them sleep for a while. As long as the inextinguishable flames in their bodies aren't extinguished, even the power of the divine prohibition technique will be slowly burned away. We can control them for a while, but not forever. Another abyssal king poured cold water on this idea. It expressed that such a divine prohibition technique couldn't trap these bright sun demons forever. These bright sun demons possessed the inextinguishable flames of the abyss. They were terrifyingly powerful. Even the divine prohibition technique couldn't restrain them. Under the burning of the inextinguishable flames of the abyss, all divine prohibition techniques would turn to dust. Even if the divine prohibition technique could last a little longer, it wouldn't be able to last for too long. This was the terror of a bright sun demon, a demon that stood at the peak of the abyss. That's right. If it was so easy to eliminate these glorious sun demons, we wouldn't have to worry so much. This time, we were only able to succeed by taking advantage of their carelessness and unpreparedness. If they were prepared, I'm afraid it wouldn't have been so easy. Controlling 49 enraged glorious sun demons is not an easy task. A three-eyed abyssal king said solemnly. In the end, it didn't swell up and remained extremely cautious. No matter what, the power of the bright sun devil's divine art was not to be underestimated. Indeed, some of the abyssal kings, who had been complacent, quickly calmed down. They seemed to have realized that they had celebrated too early. Although the forbidden god technique was powerful, it couldn't control these bright sun devils forever. Of course, they could take the opportunity to kill these bright sun devils and eliminate this unstable factor. However, what was the point of doing so? Doing so would only reduce the combat power of the abyss. If the saints of the modern universe knew about this, they would probably laugh for 3 days straight. Therefore, they couldn't be stupid enough to lose their combat power for no reason. This kind of thing really didn't make up for the loss. It doesn't matter. We just need to control them for a period of time. Soon, our plan will begin. When the time comes and we go to war with the modern universe, these bright sun devils won't be able to vent their anger on us. Instead, we can take the opportunity to use these enraged bright sun devils to destroy the power of the modern universe's saints. An abyssal king's eyes flashed with a murderous intent. Indeed, we just need to let them sleep for a period of time. That's right. Even if they regain consciousness, we'll have already gone to war with the modern universe. When they wake up, we can throw them out. It'll definitely make the saints of the modern universe anxious. The abyssal kings all nodded. They had decided on a plan in a few words. Boom! In the next second, these sleeping bright sun devils were instantly imprisoned in the void. They automatically moved around this demonic continent like celestial bodies. Although they were in a state of hibernation, their bodies could still emit endless heat, providing the demonic continent with a huge amount of life energy. They were still burning. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. An hour later, these abyssal kings also quickly disappeared from where they were. At this moment, the void had completely returned to peace, as if nothing had happened. After another period of time, when these abyssal kings had completely disappeared, Xiaoping walked out of the void. He stared at the back of the abyssal kings that had already disappeared, as well as the many bright sun devils sealed in the sky, a thoughtful expression on his face. Interesting. They could actually control the enraged, demigod-level bright sun devils so easily. What a pity. If only I could obtain these bright sun devils. Devouring their power would definitely allow the Hell Golden Crow bloodline in my body to skyrocket. Xiaoping's eyes flashed. To be honest, the bright sun devils regarded him as Tripitaka's flesh. How could he not be? To him, these bright sun devils were also one of the best tonics. He wanted to eat one at any time. Unfortunately, there were too many of these bright sun devils, and they were also very powerful. He could only look at them enviously. After thinking about it, he decided not to take the risk to avoid attracting the attention of the abyssal kings. It seems that the power of the abyss is really beyond imagination. I wonder what kind of secrets they're hiding. Xiaoping rubbed his chin. He was thinking about why these abyssal demons dared to declare war on the various races of the modern universe. After all, the modern universe had developed for billions of years. There were countless sages of the various races. It could be said that the various races of the modern universe were more than 10 times stronger than in the immemorial age. The abyss had already failed in the immemorial age, and there were countless casualties. Even after such a long period of recuperation, they might not be able to recover to their original peak state. Even so, these abyssal demons were still full of confidence. They believed that they would definitely be able to conquer the modern universe. They were still making all sorts of secret plans. It was really unbelievable. He felt that the abyssal demons definitely had something to rely on. Otherwise, why would they be so confident? However, before finding out their secrets, I should first understand what this place is. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He felt that he should not be too hasty. He still wanted to understand the specific environment here. Only then could he slowly get closer to the secrets of those abyssal kings. If he got too close, he might be beaten up badly. Whoosh! His figure flashed, and he immediately left this place, heading towards where the many demons were gathered. Chapter 2720. A dozen days later, in the Rock Demon City. This city was the largest in a radius of a few hundred light years. It was also the most prosperous place where many demons gathered. Countless demons went in and out of the city to trade. Just like humans, they lived in the city in an orderly manner. Seems like the abyss is really different from before. At this moment, Xiaoping was in a tavern, drinking rice wine brewed from the abyss alone. It was as hot as lava and contained terrifying abyssal corrosive power. If any life form of the various races drank a mouthful, they would instantly degenerate into an abyssal creature. But he was different. The golden crow of hell bloodline in his body could easily devour and refine the abyssal power contained in the wine and make it his own. At the same time, the magic power in his body seemed to have increased. He looked at the abyssal demons drinking and bragging around the tavern. If he wasn't in the abyss, he would think that he was still in the modern universe. Based on his previous impression, he thought that this abyssal continent should be filled with terrifying battles. Countless abyssal demons fought endlessly. There should be flames of war everywhere. The buildings should also be primitive. Walls and houses made of rocks were considered advanced. Ordinary demons should live in caves. But now that he was in this city, he found that everything was in order. The building techniques were also extremely advanced. It was filled with barbaric life force. It was similar to human society. At first, Xiaoping didn't understand why the abyss would change like this. But after staying here for a dozen days and constantly asking for information, he finally understood some of the truth. All of these changes came from a mysterious demon called the Demon Lord. In the primordial age, the abyssal demons suffered a crushing defeat. A large number of high-level demons were killed. All the abyssal demons were either sealed, killed, or fled back to the abyss. Even the invincible saints of the various races joined forces and killed their way into the deepest part of the abyss. They wreaked havoc and killed many invincible realm demons. This caused great damage to the abyssal world. At the same time, most of the void passages from the abyss to the modern universe were sealed. They could no longer enter and exit the modern universe without fear. Moreover, once they appeared in the modern universe, they would immediately be like street rats, being hunted everywhere until they died. As time passed, not many abyssal demons dared to leave the abyss. All of them obediently stayed in the abyss, not daring to leave. After all, no matter how they thought about it, it was still safer to stay in the abyss. They would not be killed by the saints of the various races in the modern universe. That period of time was simply the darkest period of the abyss. Talents withered, and there were countless casualties. All of them had lost their confidence and were like stray dogs. None of the demons even dared to say that they would counterattack the modern universe. Even in the face of such humiliation, they could only endure it. Even if they had to break their teeth, they had to swallow it into their stomachs. And at this moment, the mysterious demon lord appeared. As soon as it appeared, it displayed its invincible strength, subduing demigod-level demons one after another and gathering them under its banner, gradually forming a powerful force. It did not take long for it to subdue all the forces in the abyss. No matter how rebellious they were before, in front of the demon lord, they all lowered their noble heads. After that, the demon lord told many of the abyssal demons that their defeat in this war was not only because they had underestimated the enemy, but also because they had no discipline, no system, and were not united. They were like a plate of loose sand. Even their technology was extremely backward, like primitive people. If they were backward, they would be beaten. If they did not lose the war, it would be simply unreasonable. And because of this, under the leadership of the demon lord, these higher demons secretly sneaked into the modern universe. But this time, they did not choose to destroy. Instead, they turned into ordinary people and integrated into the modern universe. They began to humbly learn about the various aspects of the modern universe. They learned the system of the various races, learned the technology of the various races, and learned everything useful. And in this way, the entire abyss underwent an earth-shattering change. First of all, they directly got rid of the tribal system and entered the kingdom system. With the demigod-level demons as the center, they formed a powerful demon kingdom. And the demigod-level demons were the kings of this kingdom, so they called themselves the kings of the abyss. Next, they built cities after cities, enfeoffed feudal lords, and gathered countless demons in the cities. They made them abide by the rules here and not kill each other. In the beginning, such a system, of course, could not be implemented. It was opposed by the demons who were not used to the rules and restrictions. They expressed that the weak were prey to the strong, and that unscrupulous killing was the real demon. If they were restrained and imprisoned in a cage, they would be tigers without teeth. This would only weaken the power of the demons, not strengthen them. But with the support of the demon lord and many demigod-level demons, all the opponents were killed and completely eradicated. Only the demons who supported them could survive. Over time, the entire abyss underwent earth-shattering changes. Because of the reduction in killing each other, with the constraints of the system, the power of the abyss world was recovering at a geometrical speed. Countless tyrannical demons were constantly being born. Now, not only did they recover the power of the ancient times, but they were even stronger. But at this moment, they learned to scheme, to endure, and a plan before taking action. Even with such power, these abyss demons still did not choose to make a big fuss. Instead, they hid and waited for the opportunity to launch a fatal blow. Clearly, they had become even more terrifying and more in line with the characteristics of the demons. Demon Lord? What kind of existence is this? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. There is no doubt that all the changes that happened in the abyss were related to this demon lord. If not for this demon lord, the power of the abyss would not be so strong. Moreover, he realized that countless demons in the abyss were extremely respectful to this demon lord. It was as if he was the king of all kings of the abyss, the absolute king who stood above all demons. Every abyssal demon's worship and respect for this demon lord was deep in their bones. Without this demon lord, the abyss would be in a state of disunity, and no one would submit to anyone. This kind of fanaticism made him tremble with fear. It seems that there is no information about this demon lord in the intelligence of the human race. He's really hidden too deeply. Xiaoping clenched his fists. If he had not sneaked into the abyss, he would not have known that the abyss had undergone such a change. If he did not know anything, when war broke out, all the living beings in the universe would definitely suffer a great loss. Chapter 27-21. And this continent isn't simple either. Xiaoping touched his chin. After searching for information for more than 10 days, he not only got news about the demon lord, but also some information about this continent. In fact, this demon continent was called the Abyss Continent, and it was the largest continent in the Abyss world. However, it was not formed naturally. It seemed that in the primordial era, the demon lord led many demigod demons to move pieces of the Abyss Continent to this place. Then, they set up one formation after another, causing these continents to fuse together, and finally formed the Abyss Continent. To be honest, even the Abyss demons here didn't know how big the Abyss Continent was, and they didn't know where the end of this continent was. Many demons couldn't reach the end of the continent, even if they spent their entire lives. Moreover, the Abyss Continent seemed to be growing every year, constantly expanding its land area. Therefore, this place could be regarded as the center of the entire abyss. Most of the sage-level demons were gathered here, and it could be said that this was the base camp of the abyss demons. As for the demon continent that Xiaoping had been to before, it was actually an extremely remote place, completely rural place that was abandoned by the demons, and only some ordinary demons were left. And because of this, countless top demons gathered on this continent, causing the number and strength of the demons in the abyss world to expand rapidly, and all the forces were concentrated together. It could be said that the current abyss world was unprecedentedly powerful, and its hidden strength was definitely beyond the imagination of the various races, far from what the primordial era could compare with. But what means is the abyss hiding? Xiaoping was curious. Even though he had been inquiring about this place for more than 10 days, he still couldn't find out. It was probably a top-secret information that no other demons knew except those Abyss Kings. After all, the Abyss demons that he could come into contact with now were actually low-level demons, and they didn't know this top-secret information at all. It seems that if I want to know this top-secret information, I have to join the organization of the Abyss world so that I can infiltrate the enemy and get this information. Xiaoping was thinking about his next step. He knew that although there were countless kingdoms in the Abyss Continent, and they were fighting with each other, there was also a force above many kingdoms, and that was the Monster Demon Palace. The master of the Goblin Demon Palace was the famous Demon Lord, and the branch palaces of the Goblin Demon Palace could be found in every kingdom. However, they were all in a neutral position, monitoring the movements of the various kingdoms to prevent these kingdoms from engaging in life and death battles, causing the people to be unable to make a living and suffering heavy casualties. It could be said that the Fiendish Demon Palace was the law enforcement organization responsible for monitoring the world. Countless elite fiendish demons joined them. If you want to know the secrets of the Abyss, the best way is to join the Devil Demon Palace. Master, the voice of a black hole worm elder rang out in Xiaoping's mind. Yes, what's wrong? Has the plan succeeded? Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. That's right. After more than 10 days of hard work, we've finally opened up the void passageway between the Abyss world and the modern universe's planet Yanhuang, as well as the central universe's Xianhuang continent. At this moment, if Master is willing, you can use the classic of mountains and seas to return to the modern universe. There's no need to pass through the Abyssal Demon Gate. The Black Hole Worm Elder said excitedly. I didn't misjudge you. Hearing this, Xiaoping smiled. To be honest, Ever since he passed through the Abyssal Demon Gate, he had been very wary of the Abyssal Demon Gate. He didn't want his whereabouts to be exposed to the Abyssal Demon Gate. After all, if the Abyssal Demon Gate harbored ill intentions towards him, they could assassinate him at any time. Hence, he still wanted to find a void passageway to escape from the Abyssal Demon Gate. And the only ones who could do this were the Black Hole Worm, whose innate talent in space was the best in the universe. Ever since Chong Xiaoqian advanced to the sempiternal realm, the Black Hole Worm elders who were stuck in the Lightning Tribulation realm also advanced to the sempiternal realm. It could be said that the Black Hole Worm race now had dozens of sempiternal realm elders. This also greatly increased their strength, allowing them to excavate more stable, hidden, and powerful void passageways. Before advancing to the sempiternal realm, these black hole worms probably wouldn't be able to excavate a void passageway that connected the abyss world and the modern universe. But after advancing to the immortal realm, it was completely different. Hence, after more than 10 days of hard work, the entire black hole worm race finally dug out several void passageways that connected the modern universe and the abyss world. Thank you for the compliment, Master. This is what we should do. The many black hole worm elders were extremely excited and happy. To be honest, they had been freeloading in the classic of mountains and seas for so long, but they had never been able to do anything for their master. This made them feel extremely ashamed. Now that they could finally help, they felt that they were finally of some use. All right, I understand. You guys can go back first. Remember to maintain these void passageways well. Don't let others discover them. Xiaoping waved his hand. In truth, although Chong Xiaoqian was a little useless, her subordinates were still very capable. As expected of one of the top beings in the universe with innate talent in space, they could easily excavate a void passageway that connected the abyss world and the modern universe. In the primordial era, the black hole worm race was targeted and exterminated because of this ability of theirs. Naturally, this included the abyssal demon race. Don't worry, Master. The void passageways that our black hole worm race excavates are impossible for other races to discover. That's right. Our black hole worm race's void passageways have been imbued with our black hole worm race's secret spatial techniques. They're hidden in the depths of space-time. Even an invincible saint would find it difficult to discover them. That's right. Even if they're discovered, these void passageways are extremely sturdy. Once an enemy invades, we'll immediately know. There definitely won't be any accidents. Rest assured, Master, about the quality of our black hole worm construction. There will definitely be no accidents. The many black hole worm elders were full of confidence because this was their specialty. They were famous even in the entire universe. Even in places where spatial storms were prevalent, they could excavate a stable space-time passageway. Not bad. Xiaoping was very satisfied. With these void passageways, he could return to the modern universe at any time. Even if something unexpected happened, he would be able to escape without being intercepted by the Abyssal Kings. It could be said that he was now in an invincible position. Even if he caused huge trouble in the Abyss world, no demons would be able to do anything to him. Chapter 27-22. Whoosh. Very quickly, the voices of the black hole worm elders disappeared as they returned to the classic of mountains and seas world. All right, since I have prepared a way out, it is time to find a chance to join Monster Demon Hall. Xiaoping touched his chin. To be honest, it wasn't easy to join Monster Demon Hall. First, one had to have a clean background and a demon to vouch for them. This would prevent many from joining Monster Demon Hall with ulterior motives. Secondly, one had to be strong and talented enough to join Monster Demon Hall. Every year, many demons wanted to join Monster Demon Hall, but only 1 out of 10,000 joined. One could imagine how difficult it was. Even if Xiaoping wanted to turn into a demon and join Monster Demon Hall, it would be extremely difficult. First, he had to prove that his background was clean. Looks like the only thing I can do now is to kill a demon from the Monster Demon Palace and replace it completely. That way, I can join the Monster Demon Palace without anyone noticing. Xiaoping recalled the inheritance of the true demon god that he had obtained. One of its most important powers was to turn lies into truth. It could turn lies into truth, and it could turn his false identity into reality. This way, no demon would be able to detect it, because this was the power of a demon god. Of course, there was a limit to this ability. The person that he wanted to replace could not be stronger than him. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to do it. This was the limit of his ability. In truth, if he could replace a demigod demon, that would be great. He would save a lot of effort, and he would be able to obtain the secrets of the core. But in reality, he couldn't do that now. It would be great if he could replace a being below immemorial ancient realm. But how do I find a demon from Monster Demon Hall to kill and replace it? Xiaoping squinted his eyes. In truth, there were very few demons in Monster Demon Hall. They were strong, and their movements were unpredictable. Ordinary demons wouldn't have a chance to meet them. He had stayed here for more than 10 days and had seen many demons from Monster Demon Hall. Occasionally, he would meet them, but they were in a hurry and he didn't have time to attack. Do I have to head near Monster Demon Hall and wait? Xiaoping knew that there was a branch of the fiendish demon palace in this city, and this city could be considered the capital of a kingdom. Countless fiendish demons gathered here, and the area was vast and boundless. This branch of the fiendish demon palace seemed to be located near the royal palace. It was covered by many restrictive arrays, and ordinary fiendish demons could not even get close to it. The guards of the fiendish demon palace would probably interrogate them if they were within 50 kilometers of the fiendish demon palace. At that moment, Xiaoping, who was sitting in the tavern, sensed that there was a small alley not far away. There seemed to be hundreds of restrictive arrays set up around it, enveloping the surrounding void. The alley was immediately sealed. Even if anything happened inside, it would not be heard from the outside. Of course, it was impossible for such a restrictive formation to stop his divine sense prying. Dong! With a thought, his divine sense silently penetrated the restrictive formation. Immediately, he saw more than a dozen demons dressed in black standing in the alley, exuding a terrifying abyssal aura. There was a young fiendish demon lying on the ground. At this moment, he seemed to be lying in a pool of blood and had lost all signs of life. Fiendish demons from the fiendish demon palace? Sensing these demons in black, Xiaoping's pupils shrank. He could tell at a glance that these demons were wearing the official uniforms of the fiendish demon palace. Other than the fiendish demons from the fiendish demon palace, no other fiendish demons in the entire city dared to wear such uniforms. Otherwise, it would be considered a great disrespect to the fiendish demon palace. The most severe punishment would be death or imprisonment for tens of thousands of years. The punishment was extremely heavy. Not many fiendish demons dared to pretend to be members of the fiendish demon palace. Interesting. Are they dealing with traitors? Or is there an internal conflict? Xiaoping touched his chin. He also sensed that the dead young fiendish demon was also a member of the fiendish demon palace. However, he did not know why he was killed by other members of the fiendish demon palace. Is he dead? One of the demons in black said. Yes, he is dead. Even his soul has been destroyed by us. Even the abyss can't save him. Another fiendish demon in black said. That's good. That stupid Austin actually dared to lay his hands on the most beautiful rose of our Rock Demon City's branch, Monica. He really doesn't know what's good for him. He doesn't know that not every woman can be touched by him. Since he overestimated himself, he has to die. A fiendish demon in black sneered. What do we do now? Should we destroy the corpses? That way, no one will know that we did it. No, destroying the corpse won't achieve the effect of killing the chicken to scare the monkey. Moreover, he was poisoned by the soul-destroying poison that we developed. This poison is silent and destroys the soul without leaving any traces. No one will be able to find out how he died. That's right. It's just Austin. He doesn't have any backing. Even if he dies, who will avenge him? But what about Monica? If she finds out about this, won't she fly into a rage and burn us? Don't worry. I know Monica well. She's a cold and heartless woman. She won't shed a single tear, even if she knows that Austin is dead. The men around her are like a school of carps in the river. A mere Austin is nothing to them. Monica was just toying with him. That's true. However, Austin is really unlucky. He was just toyed with by Monica, but he paid the price with his life. What a pitiful fellow. This matter has nothing to do with us. We were just following orders. Not being strong enough is a sin in the Abyss world. It's only a matter of time before he gets killed by other powerful fiendish demons. Let's go. There might be fiendish demons passing by soon. We have to remove this restrictive array formation as soon as possible, lest some fiendish demons discover something fishy and get into trouble. These fiendish demons in black discussed fervently. They moved very quickly and were well trained. In a few breaths, all the traces of the crime had disappeared. Even the scene of space and time was completely distorted. Before long, they disappeared from the alley, leaving behind only the corpse of a young fiendish demon. Swoosh! At this moment, the void above the alley distorted and a figure walked out. It was Xiaoping. He came before the corpse of the young fiendish demon. Interesting. I was thinking about how to find a fiendish demon from the fiendish demon palace to replace him. Isn't this dead, young, fiendish demon the best candidate? Xiaoping rubbed his chin. He felt that his luck tonight was pretty good. Chapter 27-23. Existence Replace. Xiaoping's body shook as he channeled the authority of the true demon god. With his body as the center, the radius of hundreds of thousands of light years was completely enveloped by this authority. Immediately, his figure slowly transformed into the young demon lying on the ground. Be it his appearance, figure, aura, bloodline, or soul, everything became exactly the same. The corpse on the ground seemed to have been completely devoured by the power of the true demon god. It turned into nothingness and vanished without a trace, as though it had never existed in this world. Did I replace this demon just like that? Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He realized that the power of the true demon god did not just transform his appearance into the other party's. Instead, he had completely replaced the other party. He had also completely inherited the karmic threads on the young demon. He could easily change the perception of other demons. Even an invincible sage would not be able to detect anything fishy. Whoosh! Instantly, he realized that countless karmic threads were transmitting a massive amount of information to him from the depths of the void. These were the memories of this young demon. Although he was already dead, these memories were still hidden in the depths of space and time, hidden in the karmic threads. Now, he had also inherited all these memories. At this moment, Xiaoping was shocked. He felt that he had underestimated the power of the true demon god. The power to replace others was not as simple as he had imagined. It was not just his figure, appearance, and soul that had changed into the appearance of others. Even the memories of his soul had been completely inherited. It was as though he was the true demon himself and was extremely familiar with the abyss. If he had not kept his true self, he would have thought that he was this young demon, Austin. It could be said that he had completely transformed into Austin. Be it bloodline, appearance, or memories, he was no different from the real Austin. Of course, there was no way to change his personality and actions. These were things that had been engraved into the depths of Xiaoping's soul. However, this did not matter. Due to the power of the true demon god, even if he had changed his personality, other demons who had come into contact with Austin would feel that it was natural and not feel awkward. This was the power of the true demon god. I see. This is an immortal realm flower demon. Xiaoping rubbed his chin. At this moment, he also understood the power of this young, fiendish demon, Austin. Its true form was a flower demon, a fiendish demon born from a rare flower in the abyss. This kind of fiendish demon specialized in the power of charm. Their bodies could emit all sorts of incredible fragrances that could easily gain the favor of other fiendish demons. At the same time, they were also extremely handsome. Some people would say that there were countless demon races in the abyss, and their appearances were also very strange. There was no common aesthetic. However, the flower demon was different. It relied on its scent to capture the lives of all races. The sense of touch like scent surpassed everything and could easily capture the goodwill of countless members of the opposite sex. Therefore, it easily won the favor of the daughter of the Rock Demon City's Demon Palace Master, Monica. Just like that, the two of them became boyfriend and girlfriend. It even used its relationship with Monica to join the Monster Demon Palace and become one of its members. Although its position wasn't very high, its life was smooth sailing. Furthermore, with Monica's help, he could be considered to have a meteoric rise in the Devil Demon Palace. His life was flourishing, and he was very carefree. However, when the other fiendish demons from the Monster Demon Palace found out about this, they were all filled with jealousy. They thought that Austin was just a pretty boy fiendish demon that relied on a woman to climb up the ranks. That night, some big shots had instructed some fiendish demons to kill Austin, silently killing him in an alley. Although Austin specialized in the power of charm, as a flower demon, his combat power wasn't that strong. He was no match for the other fiendish demons at all. In the end, he was killed in an instant. What a pitiful fellow. Due to his lack of strength, he ended up flirting with a woman he shouldn't have. However, this kid's identity just happens to be suitable. Xiaoping rubbed his chin. Perhaps I can make use of this guy's identity to quickly raise my status in the Monster Demon Palace. Through that, I'll be able to find out more information about the Abyss. To be honest, he felt that this Austin's identity wasn't bad. Because of his status as a flower demon, he was naturally very weak. He had no parents and no backing, so he was bullied by others. That was why he didn't have any friends. All he did was hang out with various female fiendish demons and was often chased by other strong male fiendish demons. It could be said that this flower demon Austin was already notorious. In fact, he wasn't a fiendish demon from the Rock Demon City. He came from somewhere else to seek refuge here. However, he didn't expect that even after coming to this place, he still couldn't escape death. Unfortunately, this guy's status is too low. He doesn't have the right to come into contact with too much information. Xiaoping said regretfully. Originally, he wanted to take this opportunity to find out more about the Abyss's invasion of the modern universe. However, this flower demon Austin was a complete idiot. He only wanted to flirt with women all day long. He wasn't interested in such things at all. That was why he couldn't get any useful information from Austin's memory. However, the flower demon's power doesn't seem so simple. Xiaoping touched his chin. When he transformed into the flower demon, he naturally didn't just transform into the other party's appearance. At the same time, he had also inherited the flower demon's bloodline and power. He realized that the flower demon seemed to be a special flower in the abyss. It was called the abyss flower. It emitted an endless special fragrance that had a fatal attraction to all life forms in the world, including fiendish demons. This kind of power was incomparably powerful if used properly. However, it was obvious that this flower demon Austin had wasted his talent and used it to flirt with girls. There are 6 senses in the world: hearing, sight, taste, smell, touch, and the 6th sense. Every sense is incomparably important. They form the essential elements for life to perceive the world. If I can control the 6 senses of touch, I can control all life forms. Xiaoping squinted his eyes. He felt that he was currently immersed in using the flower demon's bloodline power. It was as though the smell of everything in the world was under his control. Moreover, this smell was something that even the time law, space law, creation law, and world law couldn't restrain. It permeated every space-time and was everywhere. Interesting. Is this the world of smell? Xiaoping's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. He was incomparably excited. He could control smell like breathing. Countless smells in the world were under his control. He could control them at will. This was the smell of joy, sorrow, pain, filth, excitement. Countless smells intertwined with each other, forming a world of smell. Chapter 27-24. Moreover, Xiaoping sensed that when every scent reached the extreme, it would undergo an incredible change, forming a unique domain that could control the emotions of living creatures and cause the enemy to fall into the illusion of scent. Scent is real, but it can also be an illusion. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He realized that the power of the flower demon's bloodline seemed to complement the true explanation of illusions that he cultivated. There was a feeling that they complemented each other. If he were to cast the power of illusions and support the flower demon's power to control scent, he would be able to cause the enemy to fall into an endless illusion, making it impossible for them to escape. It seemed that at this moment, the power of illusions also had a hint of reality and was about to evolve to the supreme realm of turning illusions into reality. He felt that the use of the flower demon's bloodline power to control scent was too beneficial to his cultivation of illusions. It was as though it had raised his realm of illusions to a whole new level. No wonder this kid can fool around in the abyss world and attract the love of countless women. It turns out that it's all because of the flower demon's bloodline power. It can freely control scent and hormone power. Xiaoping smiled. At this moment, he had already understood the mystery of the bloodline power. One must know that the reason why men and women would be attracted to each other was because of the attraction of their hormones. If a man's hormones were strong, he would attract more women and be liked by more women. When it reached a certain level, he would simply be unable to extricate himself. Of course, this power could not only attract women, but also men. Even all living things in the world would be attracted by the power of hormones. This originated from the nature of living things. It was an instinct deep in the bloodline that could not be suppressed. This power is incredible. If this flower demon were to advance to the invincible realm, I'm afraid it would definitely cause chaos in the world. I don't know how many lives would be lost. Xiaoping was amazed. The more he developed the power of the bloodline, the more he realized that the bloodline of the flower demon was very unusual. If it could completely evolve, it would definitely become a demigod-level demon that could dominate the world. As long as the flower demon used the power of hormones, it could easily obtain the favor of all living things in the world. It could even make these people who prostrated at its feet do anything without hesitation, even if they had to go through water and tread on fire. Not only could this power control everything in the world, but it could also create illusions in living beings, making them almost unable to extricate themselves and subduing their enemies without fighting. Fortunately, the flower demon was killed. Otherwise, if it were to fully mature, it would be a terrifying existence. In the blink of an eye, as Xiaoping was tempering the power of the flower demon's bloodline, the sky gradually brightened. Soon, it was morning. Well, when did this happen? Is it already morning? How could it be so fast? It seems that when I cultivate, I really can't feel the passage of time. Xiaoping squinted his eyes. He felt a ray of sunlight descending from the sky. It was slightly dazzling. He stretched his waist. Forget it. I will carefully study the power of the flower demon's bloodline in the future. Now let's return to the demonic palace first. All the members of the monstrous demon palace basically lived in the monstrous demon palace. They had their own residences, and it was also heavily guarded. There were restrictive formations everywhere, so there would be no accidents. Naturally, Flower Devil Austin lived there as well. Originally, he had been staying in a monstrous demon palace. Unfortunately, last night, he was tricked and left the monstrous demon palace. In the end, he was ambushed and killed in an alley. However, if Flower Devil Austin didn't die, Xiaoping wouldn't have picked up such a bargain. Swoosh! With Flower Devil Austin's memory, Xiaoping drove to the Rock Demon City's monstrous demon palace with ease. Austin, you actually didn't die? Instantly, when the few monstrous demon guards at the entrance of the monstrous demon palace saw Xiaoping appear, they couldn't help but be shocked. They widened their eyes as if they had seen a ghost. No one could imagine the shock they were feeling at this moment. Not dead? Why did I die? Do you know something? Xiaoping looked at the few monstrous demon guards with a faint smile. He also knew that Flower Devil Austin seemed to be unpopular in the monstrous demon palace. God knows how many monstrous demons were envious of him, and all of them wanted him dead. And these monstrous demon guards probably heard some news in secret, and they might even be part of the plan. They knew that Austin would be assassinated, so they were so shocked to see Austin return alive. No, nothing. We know everything. It's just that there were rumors that you met with an accident. The few monstrous demon guards were very embarrassed and guilty. They looked left and right, trying to cover up their slip of the tongue. They couldn't possibly say that they had received news that Austin was dead, right? However, Austin had appeared in front of them full of vigor. There was nothing more shocking than this. Open the door. I've been tired for the whole night, and I want to go back and rest. Is that all right? Xiaoping said with a smile. No problem. Of course, no problem. Hearing this, one of the monstrous demon guards nodded and bowed. He quickly retreated and opened the door of the monstrous demon palace. And Xiaoping's figure flashed, and he quickly disappeared in front of these monstrous demon guards. What's going on? He's just a gigolo, a guy who lives off a woman. Why are you bowing to him? Are you crazy? A monstrous demon at the side said in disbelief. I don't know what happened just now. In that instant, I seem to have seen a king of the abyss appear in front of me, and I subconsciously felt fear. This is really strange. I didn't have such a feeling when I saw Flower Devil Austin previously. Why is this happening now? That monstrous demon was also in disbelief. He didn't even know what he had just done. It seemed that in that instant, he had developed a sense of reverence for Austin and didn't dare to look him in the eye. It seems that Austin isn't a simple character. We have completely underestimated him. An old monstrous demon at the side narrowed his eyes and revealed a thoughtful look. Leader, what do you mean? A few monstrous demon guards asked curiously. Think about it. There was news this morning that Austin met with an accident and died outside. But now, Austin has suddenly returned. Why would such news appear? It's obvious that some monstrous demon had tried to kill Austin and thought that he had killed Austin. Unexpectedly, Austin managed to escape and return alive. From this, we can see that Austin isn't as simple as we thought. He's very unfathomable. The old monstrous demon said in a deep voice. Then what should we do now? A few monstrous demon guards asked anxiously. Just act as if nothing happened. Both sides are big shots, and it's not something we can get involved in. I've been a guard in the Devil Demon Palace for so many years, and I'm still alive because of one thing, pretending to be deaf and mute. The old monstrous demon said indifferently. Chapter 27-25. Rock Demon City, Monster Demon Palace, a mansion. At this moment, Xiaoping had already returned to his mansion in Monster Demon Palace. This was a luxurious mansion that occupied an area of more than 100 acres. There were dozens of guest rooms, a swimming pool, a garden, and all kinds of cultivation rooms. There were even maids and guards. It was just like a palace. It was extremely luxurious. Even such a house was an extremely high level in Monster Demon Palace. Ordinary immortal fiendish demons would not be able to live in such a house. A house with 3 rooms and 2 living rooms was already not bad. The treatment was also very good. Normally, Flower Devil Austin was just an immortal realm fiendish demon. He had just joined Monster Demon Palace not long ago and had not made any contributions. It was impossible for him to live in such a house. However, he had hooked up with Monica, the daughter of the Monster Demon Palace's branch hall master in Rock Demon City. With Monica's connections, he could live in this place openly. In fact, Monica had a total of 10 mansions like this. She had only bestowed one of these mansions to Austin. At this moment, Xiaoping finally understood why Austin was so hated. A puny, immortal, fiendish demon who had not made any contributions was actually enjoying such treatment in Monster Demon Palace. One could imagine the resentment and dissatisfaction of other fiendish demons. It was especially so for those fiendish demons who thought that they had done a lot of hard work. When they saw Austin's treatment, all of them wanted to tear him apart. They thought that he was just a pretty boy. He had only hooked up with a woman, yet he was treated better than them. It would be strange if they were convinced. Master! When the many maids and guards of the mansion saw Xiaoping return, they were all shocked. This was because they had heard the news that Austin had died outside, and the news had spread like wildfire, so they believed it to be true. But now he had returned alive. It was really unbelievable. However, as servants, they still suppressed the shock in their hearts. They did not dare to show any emotions, for fear of displeasing their master. After all, their master had the power to kill them. Other fiendish demons could look down on Austin, but they could not. They could not even show it. Xiaoping nodded arrogantly, not planning to talk to these guards and maids. But to these servants, this was a matter of course. Austin was such a demon, and they had long been accustomed to it. They even thought that it was a very normal thing. Austin. Just then, a series of crisp sounds came from outside the mansion. Then, a large group of fiendish demons walked in from outside the mansion. They seemed to be treating this place like their own home. Huh? Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. He immediately saw one. 9 meters tall, slender, and sexy woman walking over. She had all the parts that a woman should have, and she was extremely outstanding. Her entire body exuded a strong, feminine aura. She had a perfect face, eyes like spring water, and a pair of demonic horns on her head. Her body seemed to be shrouded in moonlight, and her aura was unfathomable. This was a demon at the pinnacle of the archaic realm. Moon Demon Monica. He immediately recognized this beautiful female demon as the legendary Moon Demon Monica. She was the flower of the Rock Demon City, a rose with thorns that countless male, fiendish demons desired. At the same time, she was also the only daughter of the Rock Demon City's Subhall Master, the Demon Palace's elder, the Night Demon King. This series of titles made Monica the most famous female fiendish demon in the Rock Demon City. Countless fiendish demons wanted to bow down to her, and such a female fiendish demon had been taken by Austin. One could imagine how many fiendish demons hated and envied Austin. But in Flower Demon Austin's memory, although he and Monica became boyfriend and girlfriend, they did not spend much time together. He even had a feeling that Austin was just one of Monica's toys. If she liked him, she would naturally like him very much. But if she hated him, he would probably be thrown away. However, Flower Devil Austin was already prepared. In fact, for a prodigal son of love like him, being a spare tire and using other women as a spare tire were common occurrences. They were just out to have some fun. Why so serious? That's great. You really didn't die. I heard that you died outside. It's great to see that you're fine. Monica heaved a sigh of relief when she saw Xiaoping. Then, she looked Xiaoping up and down with her beautiful eyes. There seemed to be a strange power enveloping Xiaoping's body, as if she was sensing something. But this news isn't groundless. Did you really encounter something last night? Her eyes flickered, revealing a hint of killing intent. Because everyone in the Rock Demon City knew that Austin was her man. Now, there were actually other fiendish demons that dared to lay their hands on Austin. Wasn't that a slap to Monica's face? As the daughter of the Night Demon King, she definitely could not tolerate such a thing happening. This was the dignity of a king's daughter. Woman, don't be a busybody. This is a matter between us men. Don't interfere. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back and said to Monica indifferently, "What?" Hearing this, the guards and maids in the mansion, as well as the dozen maids that came with Monica, widened their eyes. They couldn't believe that Austin actually dared to say such a thing. To be honest, in their impression, this Austin was just a gigolo that lived off a woman. He was always by Monica's side, telling jokes like a dog, constantly trying to please Monica, afraid that Monica would get angry. Of course, they also despised men who were like gigolos the most. All of them were waiting to watch a good show. They were waiting to see when Monica would hate this gigolo and kick him away. But what did this guy mean? He actually dared to speak to Lady Monica in such a tone. Was this guy completely crazy? Or was he crazy? Monica was also a little stunned, because this was the first time in her life that a man dared to speak to her like this. After all, as the daughter of the Night Demon King, she was born noble. Since young, no one dared to provoke her. Who dared to speak to her in such a tone? Even her father didn't speak to her like this. But this Austin was the first man to be so daring. What is this? Don't you understand? Don't bother about this. It has nothing to do with you. This is a war. Woman, go away. Xiaoping frowned and spoke to Monica in a very serious tone. This tone was simply scolding. Chapter 27-26. To be honest, there was a reason why Xiaoping used such a tone. After all, he came to the Abyss as a spy this time, hoping to find out all kinds of information about the Abyss. If he continued to have relationships with the people around Austin, it would be very disadvantageous to his next actions. Since that was the case, he wanted to take the opportunity to break off his relationship with Monica. It would be best if Monica hated him and kicked him away so that he could act alone. Of course, if he offended Monica, this mansion might be uninhabitable, but he did not want to live in such a place. To be honest, he had lived in all kinds of houses. He even owned an entire world. A mere house was nothing to him. Achieving his goal was the most important thing. Okay, I got it. I'll be good in the future and won't care about your matters anymore. But to Xia Ping's surprise, Monica did not get angry after hearing these words. Instead, her pretty face blushed, and she looked like a little woman in love. She became extremely obedient. Xia Ping blinked. He felt that this woman seemed to be a little crazy. Could it be that this woman's brain was damaged? Could it be that she did not understand what he said at all? Normally, after a woman heard these words, would she not slap him angrily? It seemed that this woman's illness was not light. He needed to increase the dosage. By the way, Austin, I usually bear the monthly expenses of this mansion. I'm afraid that from this month onwards, you'll have to bear it, Monica said cautiously. What? Xia Ping raised his voice. Why do you need me to bear it? Don't you have 10 mansions? You're very rich. Can't you afford this little money? You actually need a man to pay for your daily necessities. What kind of woman are you? He looked at Monica with disdain, as if he was looking at a scumbag. What? Hearing this, the surrounding guards and maids were dumbfounded and speechless. It was the first time they had seen such a shameless man. Generally speaking, wasn't it natural for men to bear the daily necessities? But from this man's mouth, it was the complete opposite. Was living off a woman so natural? They looked at Xia Ping in disbelief, as if it was their first time meeting this man. But I'm afraid that my father will be returning from the Demon Palace's headquarters soon. I'm afraid that if my father finds out about this, he'll say that you're living off a woman. It won't be good if word gets out, Monica said shyly. Shut up, Xia Ping shouted. Monica, you're looking down on me too much. So what if I have to suffer some rumors in order to be with you? Do you think I'm a kind of man who cares about what the outside world thinks of me? If I cared about that, I would never have gotten together with you in the first place. Do you understand? The group of maids was dumbfounded. They did not know how to describe what they were thinking in the depths of their hearts. This was the first time they had seen a man living off a woman be so righteous. It was as if it was a great honor for the other party to be willing to live off them. Now, they didn't know who was the master and who was the servant. But Monica looked hesitant. Done. Xia Ping waved his hand. Monica, you're not teaching me how to do things, right? I know what I'm doing. Don't ask about it in the future, understand? And I understand, Lord Austin. Whatever you say, I'll do it obediently. Monica's pretty face was crimson red, and she nodded her head repeatedly. Her beautiful eyes seemed to be emitting red hearts, as if she had completely fallen in love, as if she had completely lost her mind. Seeing Monica like this, Xia Ping, he was speechless. He felt that this woman was indeed crazy, and the kind that could not be saved. He had clearly used all his strength to kick this woman away, hoping that this woman would fly into a rage and leave on her own. But who would have thought that his words would actually have the opposite effect? Instead, she would like him even more. What was going on? Cough, cough. That's right. I want to take on some missions from the Demon Palace to increase my authority in the Demon Palace. You can go and find some missions that are easy and have a lot of benefits. Xia Ping felt that since this was the case, he might as well make use of this woman's value. But the missions in the Demon Palace are all very dangerous. Monica was a little worried about his safety. Monica, are you teaching me how to do things? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. Hearing this, Monica jumped in fright and immediately said, No, I'll help you find them right now. Trust me, I'll soon find missions that are easy and have a lot of rewards. She made a promise. That's good. I'm a little tired. You can leave first. I need to rest. Xia Ping waved his hand, gesturing for her to leave. Lord Austin, do you need me to serve you? Monica said affectionately. F***CK. This female demon can't be thinking of eating me, right? Seeing this female demon like this, Xia Ping immediately felt a little frightened. Although he had been in the brothel for many years, he had never tried with a demon. After all, he was a human. Who knew what would happen if he was with a demon? He coughed. No need. I've been through some things before, and my body is a little tired. By the way, Lord Austin must have experienced some danger. That's why such news came out. Since that's the case, I won't disturb you today. Lord Austin, we'll be leaving. I'll come back to see you tomorrow." Hearing this, Monica could not help but nod, feeling that Xia Ping's words made sense. So. Then, she waved her hand and quickly left the mansion with her subordinates. Her actions were very swift and decisive. When the maids and guards saw this scene, they didn't know what words to use to describe the reverence in the depths of their hearts. This was the first time they saw Sir Austin tame Lady Monica to such an extent. Now, they did not know who was the master of this place. "All right, close the door. No matter who comes today, don't let them in, understand?" Xia Ping said to the guards and maids. "Understood, Lord Austin." The maids and maids immediately nodded. They did not know why, but they felt that the current Austin was more than 1,000 times more dignified than before. This kind of aura and dignity made them feel as if they had met the king of the abyss, and they did not dare to disobey his orders. Chapter 27:27. At this moment, there was a mansion in the Rock Demon City's Devil Palace. That was the mansion that Moon Demon Monica lived in. "Master, weren't you too nice to that Austin just now? He actually dared to speak to you in such a tone. How preposterous." A maid was filled with righteous indignation, feeling unconvinced on behalf of her master, Monica. That man was clearly just a gigolo, yet he dared to speak to his mistress in such a tone. Could it be that this bastard couldn't tell who was the boss? If her master was willing, she could kick this gigolo away at any time and make this bastard lose all his power and wealth. She would let this bastard know what life at the bottom was like. That's right, Master. You shouldn't be so gentle to that Austin. That bastard is simply treating Master as his own servant. He really has no respect for his elders. Austin wasn't so arrogant before. He's really getting more and more arrogant now. I feel that Master still dotes on him too much. It's making him a little lawless. That's right. If we don't control him, who knows what will happen? The numerous maids discussed animatedly, and they expressed that Monica truly pampered Austin too much. That was why Austin was so unbridled and fearless. Those words and that expression just now made them very angry. Indeed, Austin was a little fierce just now. However, I don't know why, but I feel that he's very manly. The fiercer he is, the more I like him. That tone, that attitude, it's really too charming. I've never seen such a charming man. Monica cupped her face with her hands. Her pretty face was red, and she had a look of infatuation. Hearing this, the maids' mouths twitched. They didn't know what to say. They could only say that their master had been completely poisoned by Flower Devil Austin. Otherwise, how could she have lost her rationality like this? That's right. Lord Austin seems to want to complete the Devil Palace's mission. He needs easy and high rewards. You need to work hard to find them. Otherwise, Lord Austin will be angry. Monica immediately remembered the mission Xia Ping had given her just now. She immediately cried out. She was burning with anxiety. He was even more concerned about her own matters. There's no hope. The group of maids were speechless. They originally wanted to persuade her, but now they couldn't say anything. If they continued to persuade her, they were afraid that they would make Monica angry. At that time, they would probably be finished. Also, Lord Austin's current strength isn't enough. If he wants to continue increasing his strength, I'm afraid he'll need a large number of treasures. Go to my treasury and take out 9 types of abyssal elixirs and send them to Lord Austin. Let him increase his strength so that he can survive the mission. Monica ordered the maid beside her. Yes, Lady Monica. The group of maids were speechless. They felt that their master, Monica, was completely done for. She had even given away the treasures in her treasury. It must be known that these treasures were treasures that Monica had accumulated over many years. Some were even supreme treasures that the Night Devil King had gifted to his daughter. They were priceless in the abyss, and even the Abyss Devil King coveted them. But now it was given to a pretty boy. Was there any justice in this? They didn't know how to describe this kind of behavior, but this was their master Monica's order, and they couldn't disobey it. These maids could only secretly curse that Austin, wanting this hateful pretty boy to quickly disappear and not continue to harm their master, Monica. In another place, in the depths of the Rock Demon City's Demon Palace, A dozen or so fiendish demons were gathered in a secret room. Some of them had appeared in that small alley before. What's going on? Didn't you guys say that you've already killed that flower demon Austin personally? And now this be asterisk starred has returned to the demon palace alive and well. Even Monica is doting on him. What the hell are you guys doing? Can't you guys even do such a small thing? A young demon that looked like a rich young master bellowed out with a malevolent expression. He was extremely infuriated and gritted his teeth. He couldn't wait to eat these demons beside him alive. He was the son of the Rock Demon City's deputy hall master, known as the six-armed lion demon Chapman. His strength had reached the pinnacle of immemorial ancient state, and his body was emanating a terrifying demonic aura. No one could imagine the rage he was feeling right now. Initially, he had spread the news in the morning that Flower Demon Austin was dead, and many demons had believed it. But now, Flower Demon Austin had come back to life, brimming with energy. Something like this was just like a slap to his face, turning him into the laughing stock of the demon palace. They were mocking him for not being able to do such a small thing properly. I'm sorry, Lord Chapman. Last night, we confirmed it again and again. Indeed, we thought that Austin was dead, and his soul had dissipated. But for some reason, he came back alive today. This is unbelievable. That demon also felt that this was too ridiculous. Last night, they had confirmed it again and again that even the King of the Abyss wouldn't be able to save Austin. But what happened this morning was like a slap to their faces, and they were too ashamed to show their faces. Truth be told, when they saw Austin return, it was as though they had seen a ghost. For a few minutes, their minds were blank, and they couldn't think of anything. Dead? If he's really dead, what's going on with Austin this morning? Do you guys think that that lad is an imposter? The six-armed lion demon Chapman scoffed coldly. Truth be told, that's what we thought. The few demons braced themselves and said, Bullsh asterisk T, you still dare to quibble. The six-armed lion demon Chapman shouted angrily. As a member of the demon palace, every member's soul aura is connected to the demon palace's token. If the other party is an imposter, there's no way he could enter the demon palace, and he would be detected instantly. Moreover, Miss Monica is the famous moon demon, and her strength has reached the pinnacle of the archaic realm. Her eyes can see through all illusions. If that lad is an imposter, do you think Miss Monica wouldn't be able to see through it? It cursed loudly, so much so that its spittle was flying all over the place. In fact, he had suspected that the other party might be an imposter at the beginning. But after thinking about it carefully, the demon palace's restrictive formation was very tight, and it wasn't something an ordinary demon could imagine. Even the King of the Abyss couldn't escape the detection of the demon palace's restrictive formation, let alone other demons. If the flower demon Austin was really an imposter, he would have been immediately detected the moment he entered. He might even have been killed on the spot and died without a complete corpse. Chapter 27-28. It was also because of this reason that six-armed lion devil Chapman thought that flower devil Austin wasn't dead at all, and that they had made a mistake this time, resulting in a complete failure of the mission. That was why he was so angry. He was simply furious. But if that flower devil Austin really isn't dead, then how did he survive last night? We did check several times, but we didn't find any reason for him to survive. Many fiendish demons were confused. They couldn't understand it, no matter how hard they thought. They had clearly confirmed that flower devil Austin was dead, but he still came back alive in the morning. This was like seeing a ghost, and they couldn't understand it no matter how hard they thought. There could only be two reasons for this. Six-armed lion devil Chapman squinted his eyes and revealed a terrifying glint. First, this flower devil Austin has a bloodline ability that allows him to resurrect from the dead. On the surface, he was killed by you guys, but in reality, he didn't die at all. Instead, this attack triggered his powerful bloodline ability, which allowed him to come back alive. Resurrect from the dead? You must be joking. Is there such ability in the Abyss? Hearing this, all the fiendish demons were completely stunned. They simply couldn't believe it. Of course there is, but you guys are just ignorant. In fact, there's a king in the Abyss that has such an ability. He is known as the unkillable Devil King. No matter how many times he dies, he can resurrect from the ashes. Even in the primordial era, such a tragic war couldn't kill him. Six-armed lion devil Chapman sneered. Although I don't want to admit it, this flower devil is probably very special. He might have the same bloodline ability as the Abyss King. As the son of the Vice Palace Master, he naturally knew a lot of information that normal fiendish demons didn't know. No way. If there really is such a divine ability to resurrect from the dead, then who else can kill it? The fiendish demons swallowed their saliva and were simply dumbfounded. Of course it can't be that sick. In fact, this ability also has a weakness, but it's hidden. Our levels are still too low, so it's impossible for us to know such a secret. Six-armed lion devil Chapman said in a deep voice, "Of course, I'm just guessing. This doesn't mean that the flower devil really has the same bloodline ability as the Abyss King." Then what's the second possibility? An ancient fiendish demon could not help but ask. That's an illusion. Six-armed devil lion Chapman narrowed his eyes. Clearly, that flower devil Austin might be proficient in an extremely powerful illusion technique. At the crucial moment, he made you fall into an illusion silently, making you think that you killed Austin. That's why you came back so quickly, and this kid could escape easily. Illusion? Hearing this, many of the fiendish demons could not help but shudder. Indeed, the possibility was very high. If they were hit by the flower devil Austin last night and mistakenly thought that they had killed Austin, the real Austin was not dead at all and was just watching the show from the side. In fact, in the Abyss, although there were very few demons who were proficient in illusions, they were not non-existent. This flower demon Austin might be one of them. They all felt that the possibility was very high. That resurrection bloodline ability was too ridiculous. It was simply an ability that did not conform to common sense. It was already amazing for such an Abyss demon to appear, and it was impossible for a second one to appear. This was an ability that even the heavens would be jealous of. In other words, we might have fallen into an illusion last night, and we were all played by that flower devil Austin like fools. The group of fiendish demons had gloomy expressions. When they thought of such a possibility, their faces turned a little green. This was simply a great humiliation. They were clearly going to kill this flower devil Austin, but they were played like monkeys by the flower devil Austin. They thought that they were the hunters, but they did not expect to become a prey. How could they accept such humiliation? They were on the verge of going crazy. Lord Chapman, that kid is just an immortal fiendish demon. Is he really proficient in such a powerful illusion technique? To make us, the higher fiendish demons, fall into an illusion and be unable to extricate ourselves? A fiendish demon asked. Although that kid is weak, there are similar mystical items or treasures in the Abyss that can make fiendish demons fall into an illusion silently and be unable to extricate themselves. Six-armed lion demon Chapman said in a deep voice, "If that kid has such an Abyss mystical item, it is not impossible for him to make you fall into an illusion silently." He explained his understanding. I see. Many fiendish demons could not help but nod. They also felt that the possibility was too high. Even if the flower devil Austin was weak, the Abyss mystical item could surpass the limits of strength. If they were not careful, even the Abyss King would fall into the trap, let alone them. Damnable Austin. He actually dared to play tricks on us like this. He's courting death. I'll definitely skin this bastard alive and tear his tendons out before tearing his corpse into pieces to vent the rage in my heart. A fiendish demon gritted his teeth in anger. He had never been played like this by a puny, immortal fiendish demon in his life. This was simply the greatest humiliation of his life. If this matter were to spread, he would become the laughing stock of many higher fiendish demons. But after this kid experienced such an assassination, it will not be so easy to lure him in the next time. I'm afraid it will be even more difficult than before. Yeah, if he continues to stay in the fiendish demon palace, we will not be able to do anything to him. If he never leaves, it will be even more difficult for us to take revenge. Many fiendish demons clench their fists, their faces extremely ugly. Don't worry, I've already received the news. I don't know what happened to that kid, but he actually wants to participate in the mission issued by the Fiendish Demon Palace in an attempt to raise his rank in the Fiendish Demon Palace. Six-armed lion demon Chapman narrowed his eyes. This way, he will have to leave the Fiendish Demon Palace in order to complete the mission. At that time, we will secretly follow him or directly participate in the same mission as him. Then, that kid will be dead for sure. I will also personally take part in this operation. We must put that kid to death. What? Many fiendish demons were shocked. They completely did not expect six-armed lion demon Chapman to personally take part in this operation. One could imagine how much hatred this flower devil Austin had aroused. When the time comes, get ready. This time, there must be no mistakes. Don't make any mistakes. Otherwise, don't blame me for being merciless. Six-armed lion demon Chapman was filled with killing intent. Yes, many fiendish demons nodded solemnly. Chapter 27-29. Noon of the second day. Monica arrived as promised. She looked at Xia Ping with an infatuated expression. She blushed and said, "Lord Austin, last night I ordered my subordinates to find more than 80 quests of various sizes. Which one would you like to take?" "Oh, what mission?" Xia Ping raised his eyebrows. He looked at the dark gold cards in Monica's hand. The contents of the missions were depicted on them. These are the unique mission cards of the Monster Demon Palace. However, these mission cards could only be obtained by accepting the mission. However, what kind of mission was Monica? She used her influence to directly intercept all of these missions and then let Xia Ping slowly choose from them. After Xia Ping finished choosing, these missions would be handed over to the other demons. This was the evil power of the world. If the other fiendish demons in the Fiendish Demon Palace knew about this, they would probably be envious and jealous. Their hatred for Xia Ping would probably rise to another level. Interesting. Xia Ping scanned them with his divine sense and immediately knew the contents of these missions. To be honest, most of the missions in the Devil Demon Palace were to hunt down fiendish demons. This was because the Monster Demon Palace was actually a law enforcement organization that spanned across the entire abyss. They were responsible for supervising the various kingdoms and maintaining the law and order of the various kingdoms. However, as demons of the abyss, they were all fierce and cruel. They were born brutal and filled with the desire to kill at all times. This originated from the instincts of demons. It was simply a fantasy to use a piece of law to restrain these abyssal demons. Even under the suppression of the Monster Demon Palace and the kings of the abyss, most of the demons of the abyss already obeyed the law and would not kill the innocent. However, there were still a small number of demons who could not control their impulses and caused terrible massacres everywhere, resulting in countless deaths and injuries. This kind of behavior violated the laws of the abyss and would be directly punished. Of course, ordinary demons could be dealt with by the guards of the various kingdoms. However, there were also some terrifying demons that required the elites of the Monster Demon Palace to deal with. Obviously, these missions were issued by the various kingdoms because they could not deal with them and were handed over to the Monster Demon Palace. However, apart from these missions, there were also many special missions. For example, exploring the Abyss Mystic Realm. In fact, even the demons of the Abyss did not have a 100% understanding of the vast Abyss. There are still many powerful and dangerous mystic realms. Even abyssal monarchs wouldn't dare to casually enter a secret realm like this. Therefore, those higher demons would issue these exploration tasks, hoping that other demons would help them explore. Of course, since this kind of mission was extremely dangerous and had a slim chance of survival, the rewards were also quite shocking. Many fiendish demons were willing to take the risk. In addition to exploring the secret realm, there were also some tasks that surprised Xia Ping, and that was being a spy. This kind of mission seemed to require some loyal and devoted demons to go through the training of the Demon Palace. Then, they would silently sneak into the modern universe and become spies of the Abyss. Such a spy would also be hidden for a long time and would only be exposed at a critical moment. Interesting. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. He didn't expect the Monster Demon Palace to issue such a mission so brazenly. It was as if they were saying that they had planted many spies in the modern universe. However, if he thought about it carefully, the Devil Demon Palace's behavior was actually very normal. After all, this place was the deepest part of the abyss. It was impossible for all living beings in the universe to enter. Otherwise, they would be quickly corroded by the power of the abyss and become abyssal creatures. Therefore, of course, they had nothing to fear and were not afraid that their information would be leaked. It could be imagined that the abyss demons had probably infiltrated the modern universe for many years. It was unknown how many eras it had gone through and how many spies had been planted. They had prepared such a plan for the next war. Once a war broke out, it would definitely cause great damage to all the races in the universe. Thinking of this, Xiaoping felt that the abyss demons were even more terrifying. This race had prepared for such a long time. Once a war broke out, the scale and destructive power would probably not be comparable to that of the immemorial era. Lord Austin, which mission do you want to take? Monica looked at Xiaoping and asked. This mission. Upon hearing this, Xiaoping casually pointed at one of the mission cards. Kill the sand demon. Monica's beautiful eyes lit up when she saw this mission card. Lord Austin, this mission is not simple. The sand demon is a famous fiendish demon. It has been on the run for more than 100 years. In these 100 years, it has committed many evil deeds. It has destroyed more than a dozen cities and slaughtered all the fiendish demons in a small city each time. It is extremely cruel. It is a class of major criminal and can be executed on the spot without a trial. This sand demon was addicted to blood and slaughtered for a living. Its combat strength was extremely strong, and its whereabouts were also extremely secretive. The Devil Demon Palace had once sent an elite team to chase after this demon, but it had escaped and even killed a few of them. According to the information, this demon's strength has probably reached the near ancient realm. She knew that the sand demon's strength was not simple, and its combat power was outstanding. And Austin was only an undying demon. If he took this mission, it was not important if he failed. He was afraid that he would be killed by the sand demon. That would be too unjust. What? Are you worried that I am not a match for the sand demon? Xiaoping glanced at her. To be honest, he wanted to take on more difficult missions. However, his current identity was only an undying demon. His rank in the Monster Demon Palace was very low, and he could not take on more difficult missions. The mission to kill the sand demon was the one with the best rewards. Once he completed it, his authority and status in the Devil Demon Palace would rise to a higher level. Of course, he was not afraid of exposing his true strength, because with the power of the true demon god, even if he exposed a strength that far exceeded the undying realm, other fiendish demons would only think that he had hidden his strength before. He would not be suspected of being replaced by other fiendish demons. This was the terrifying power of the true demon god. It could twist anything that did not make sense into something reasonable. Other life forms would not feel the slightest bit strange. That was why he was so fearless. He wanted to become a top member of the Monster Demon Palace as soon as possible and obtain high authority in the Monster Demon Palace so that he could obtain important information. Hearing this, Monica immediately shook her head. No. Of course I am not worried that you're not a match for the sand demon. I'm just worried that there might be some accidents. She looked at Xiaoping anxiously. Chapter 2730. It's good that you're not worried. It's just a mere sand demon. I can kill it with a wave of my hand. It's not worth mentioning. That's it. Women, don't make irresponsible remarks when I do things. Just watch obediently, got it? Xiaoping said domineeringly with his hands behind his back. Yes, I got it. Even though his tone was domineering, Monica looked like she was enjoying it. Her face was flushed red as she nodded her head vigorously. She looked at Xiaoping with an even more infatuated look. Her face was flushed red as she screamed in her heart. Ah, Lord Austin is too domineering, too charming. No wonder he's the man I've fallen for. He's too charming. Seeing this, the surrounding maids were speechless. They did not know what to say. After all, they did not share the same emotions as Monica. They all felt that this flower devil Austin had gone completely mad. He was clearly only at the sempiternal realm, and yet he dared to accept this mission to hunt down a near ancient realm sand demon. Was this gigolo tired of living too long? Was he courting death? But this was good too. If the sand demon killed Austin, Lady Monica would be able to return to her original state. She would not be toyed with by this be *starred Austin. Right, Lord Austin. Even though I can't interfere with your mission, I still have many treasures on me. I can give them to you. I believe they'll be of great help to you in killing the sand demon. Suddenly, Monica seemed to have thought of something. She waved her hand and took out 9 treasures. Each of the abyss treasures exuded an extraordinary aura. Oh my God, that's the nightmare vine. The group of maids could not help but widen their eyes in disbelief. That was because each of the abyss treasures was priceless. They were the type that could not be bought with money. Abyss treasure, nightmare vine. This was an extremely terrifying plant that came from the depths of the abyss. It could kill demons like flies. It could grow billions of roots that were indestructible and possessed the power of immortality. Once one was entangled by the nightmare vine, it would automatically release nightmare, demonic chi. The prey that was caught would instantly fall into a nightmare and fall into a deep sleep. Following that, the nightmare vine would devour the sleeping prey and turn them into nourishment for its growth. It was unknown how many demons had died in the hands of the nightmare vine in the abyss. However, the nightmare vine was also a top-notch pet. Once the soul of the nightmare vine was refined, the nightmare vine would become its most loyal guard. It would then be able to control the nightmare vine to kill many demons. If it was attacked, the nightmare vine would even protect its host. It could be said that this was a top-notch treasure. Countless demons wanted to get their hands on a nightmare vine because it was a treasure for both offense and defense. The Night Devil King had plucked it from the abyss secret realm for his daughter, giving it to his daughter, Monica, to protect herself. But now, Lady Monica actually wanted to gift the nightmare vine to this gigolo. If this was a joke, then it would be a huge joke. If the other fiendish demons knew about this, they would probably be so jealous that their intestines would turn green. To be honest, they also knew that Austin was doted on, but they didn't expect him to be doted on to this extent by Lady Monica. She was even willing to take out such a treasure. This is the ice thorn demonic fruit. One of the maids screamed again. She saw the second treasure. It was a snow-white, crystal-like fruit. There were dense demonic thorns growing on its surface. To be honest, although this treasure wasn't as famous as the nightmare vine, it was also a top-notch life-saving treasure. This fruit was condensed by the famous Ice Thorn Devil King. If this Ice Thorn demonic fruit was thrown out, it would immediately explode all the power of the Ice Thorn demonic fruit. The power of this Ice Thorn demonic fruit was also extremely terrifying. Once it exploded, it would burst out billions of demonic thorns. These thorns had indestructible power. Even the laws of space and time couldn't defend against them. They could also shatter space barriers and easily penetrate the bodies of many ancient demons. If these thorns hit an enemy, they could instantly freeze the enemy into an ice sculpture. The terrifying cold aura would instantly shatter the enemy's soul. It could be said that this was an extremely lethal one-time use treasure. If he encountered any danger, he could throw this ice thorn demonic fruit and instantly kill the enemy. To be honest, the sand demon was very terrifying. However, if he was hit by this ice thorn demonic fruit, he would probably be in trouble. He would instantly be frozen and die without a complete corpse. Abyss demon treasure, shadow boots. Another maid sucked in a breath of cold air and was extremely shocked. When they saw this pair of treasure boots, they were also dumbstruck and almost went crazy. This was another precious treasure that Lord Night Devil King gifted to Lord Monica. It was said that this pair of boots was made from 108 types of precious abyss materials. It was engraved with all sorts of law patterns personally drawn by the Night Devil King. It contained the laws of darkness, shadow, and so on. If one wore this pair of boots, they would immediately obtain the power of shadow. Once they used the power of shadow, they would be able to silently blend into the depths of the void and turn into a shadow. They would be formless and could easily escape. Most of the power would be unable to attack the body. Without a doubt, if one wore this pair of boots, their life-saving ability would increase by 10 times. As long as they were willing, they would be able to escape no matter how great the danger was. Originally, the Night Devil King had gifted it to Lady Monica for the sake of his daughter's safety. Now, he had actually gifted it to this gigolo, Austin. This was simply crazy. To be honest, not to mention the other male demons. Even the maidservants were extremely jealous. Why was this gigolo so doted on by Lady Monica to the extent that she was willing to gift him such a treasure? Other than these 3 treasures, the other 6 treasures were also incredible. If they were taken out, they would definitely cause many demons in the Hall of Monsters and Demons to fight over them. Seeing these treasures, even Xia Ping, who had extremely sharp eyes, could tell that the abyss treasures that Monica had taken out were very unusual. They were the kind that even the ancient sages would drool over. One could totally imagine how rich Monica was. At the same time, he was also very speechless. Was this the benefit of being a gigolo? As long as he hugged the thighs of a rich woman, he probably wouldn't have to worry for the rest of his life. He didn't even need to work hard, as everything was prepared. It was no wonder that when the other demons saw this situation, they couldn't wait to kill this gigolo, Austin. Any demon who saw this scene would probably feel very unbalanced. Envy, jealousy, and hatred were not enough to describe the feelings of those demons. Chapter 2731. That's too much. Am I the kind of man that even the sand demon can't deal with in your eyes? Do I need you to humiliate me with these so-called treasures? Xiaoping widened his eyes and stared at Monica. This. Hearing this, Monica immediately panicked. No. I didn't mean that. But if Lord Austin isn't happy about it, I'll take it back. She was a little worried that Xiaoping would get angry. It seemed that her flattery had gone too far. That's enough. Xiaoping waved his hand and said casually, although I don't really want these things, this is your kind intention. How can I reject it? Remember, don't do it again. With a wave of his hand, he kept all the treasures in his pouch. He didn't leave a single one behind. His movements were extremely quick and practiced. I understand. Monica's pretty face was bright red as she nodded vigorously. When the maids at the side heard this, their mouths twitched. If it wasn't for the fact that Lord Monica was still at the side, they would definitely rush up and hammer this pretentious gigolo to death. He was clearly dizzy from Lord Monica's gift and couldn't contain his joy. Yet he was still putting on an act and saying that he wasn't the kind of person who coveted gifts. Tui, if he really wasn't that kind of person, then he shouldn't have accepted it. However, this gigolo whose skin was thicker than the city wall had actually accepted the gift just like that. Not only had he accepted all the treasures and obtained all the benefits, but he had also made Lord Monica feel that she owed this gigolo. She felt extremely guilty. This gigolo really had a wishful thinking. Not only did he take all the benefits, but he also had to let others owe him a favor. They had never seen such a thick-skinned person before. They grimaced and wanted to hammer this shameless gigolo to death. By the way, do you know where the sand demon is? Xiaoping asked. I know. I've already mobilized all the intelligence networks and found where the sand demon is. It's said that it's hidden in a crouching bull mountain range 10 light years away. Monica nodded. However, the crouching ox mountains cover a very large area. There are lofty mountains everywhere, and the terrain is extremely complicated. Moreover, the sand demon is skilled in hiding, so we don't know its exact location for now. It was precisely because the sand demon was good at concealment that it could turn into sand at any time and silently blend into the earth. Even demons that were stronger than the sand demon would not be able to track it down. That was why it had been able to roam freely for 100 years and commit countless crimes, but had never been killed or captured by the demons of the Devil Demon Palace. In the crouching Ox Mountain Range? Enough, I'll be back soon. I'll kill this sand demon and prepare a sumptuous dinner for you tonight. Xiaoping nodded, expressing his understanding. He had the golden crow's eyes of hell, which could see through all illusions. Even a god's restriction couldn't stop him. A mere sand demon wanted to hide from his eyes? That was simply a fool's dream. As long as he knew the exact location of the sand devil would definitely die. All right, I understand. Monica was extremely tempted. She discovered that the man she liked was just too domineering. He had clearly not even started fighting, but he had already treated the sand demon like a dead person. The female attendants on the side could not stand it anymore. Right now, they almost lost control of their urge to hammer the pretty boy to death. Fuck, would this bastard die if he didn't pretend to be something? The sand demon was an old demon that had committed countless crimes. It was also a demon from ancient times, so its ability to hide was extremely great. Even if the demons from the Middle Ages encountered the sand demon, they might not be able to kill it. However, this pretty boy was clearly only an immortal demon, let alone whether they could find him or not. Even if they really did find him, he would probably be hammered to death by the sand demon. With this bit of strength, he would just be sending himself to death. However, this pretty boy still did not know this. He was actually pointing out the situation here, saying that he would kill the sand demon tonight and come back. So he asked Madame Monica to prepare dinner for him. They had never seen a pretty boy who liked to pretend so much. It was a little unbearable for them. Probably only Madame Monica would believe such ridiculous words from this pretty boy. Whoosh! Xiaoping did not care about the expressions of the other female attendants. He walked out of the mansion. With a flash of his body, he quickly disappeared in front of the many fiendish demons and left the Devil Demon Palace. The news of Xiaoping leaving the Devil Demon Palace quickly spread to the ears of the fiendish demons. After all, Xiaoping had no intention of hiding his intentions when he made his move this time. What? Austin left the Devil Demon Palace? How could he be so fast? What did he go to do? Some fiendish demons were shocked when they heard the news, because according to their thoughts, this kid should not dare to leave the Devil Demon Palace for a short period of time after he was assassinated. However, only a few days had passed, and this kid actually dared to leave the Devil Demon Palace. Such audacity. Could it be that he was not afraid of encountering the next assassination attempt? I heard that the kid seemed to have gotten rid of Madame Monica and found some missions. He is planning to leave the Devil Demon Palace to complete the missions. I'm afraid he is chasing after some wanted criminals of the Devil Demon Palace. A fiendish demon said in a deep voice. What an arrogant bastard. He simply has no demons in his eyes. He is looking down on demons. He clearly knows that there are other fiendish demons chasing after him, but he still dares to appear. He really doesn't know how to write the word death. Some of the fiendish demons gritted their teeth in anger. They felt that they had been completely underestimated by Austin. They were fooled by this bastard previously and might have fallen into his illusion. Now, he still dared to leave the Devil Demon Palace so brazenly. Obviously, the assassination attempt last time was nothing to this kid. It was just a game. That was why he was so arrogant. However, when they thought of this, they felt even more sullen. They had painstakingly prepared a plan for such a long time, but it was easily destroyed by this pretty boy. Even a pig would not be able to tolerate such a thing. It's good that this kid is arrogant. The six-armed lion demon Chapman rushed over at this moment. There was a trace of coldness in his eyes. Initially, I couldn't find any opportunity to deal with him. I didn't expect him to come to me voluntarily. Since that's the case, I will send him to hell today. He clenched his fists, and his murderous aura surged. He did not hide the murderous intent in the depths of his heart. This time, he was going to take action personally. This operation would definitely be foolproof. No matter what kind of illusion that kid was proficient in, it was nothing in front of absolute power. Let's go. We must set up an inescapable trap this time. We definitely won't give him any chance to leave alive. We will bury him outside the Devil Demon Palace. The six-armed lion demon Chapman said in a deep voice. Yes. Hearing this, the other fiendish demons nodded. This time, they must take revenge and teach that kid a lesson. They must let that bastard know that the Devil Demon Palace was not a place for a pretty boy like him. Chapter 2732. Swish. At this moment, Xiaoping left the Demon Divine Hall and the Rock Demon City. He immediately used teleportation and crossed through space, arriving near the crouching Dragon Mountains in an instant. In reality, after obtaining Austin's memories, he had gained a certain level of understanding towards the abyss. In particular, Austin knew the geography near the rock demon city like the back of his hand. He did not need to look at a map at all. He could cross tens of thousands of kilometers with a single teleportation. According to the information, the wanted sand demon is here. But this mountain range seems to be very vast, so it's no wonder that no demonic demons can find it. Xiaoping stood in the air and looked at the surrounding mountain range. It was a huge mountain range that rose and fell. 100,000 mountains stood in the middle, one after another. They stretched endlessly, and the terrain was extremely complicated. Moreover, every single mountain seemed to contain special ores and powers that could block the senses of demonic souls. Even if regular demonic demons hid in the mountain range, they would probably struggle to find them. Searching for demonic demons here was like searching for a needle in a haystack. Not to mention, the sand demon was a demon condensed from sand. It could gather and disperse its body at will, so it could easily merge with the ground and turn into sand. How could a demon like that be found so easily? Who knew how many demonic demons had searched the crouching dragon mountains in the past, but they had all returned empty-handed? Golden Crow of Hell, 9 heavens and 10 lands. Show yourselves. Xiaoping used his Golden Crow of Hell's eyes, and the 2 eyes immediately began to revolve slowly. They enveloped a range of several tens of thousands of light years in an instant, like a 3-dimensional image. Millions of streaks of golden light pierced through space like lasers. They pierced through space and permeated every corner, searching for demonic demons everywhere. Within his range of vision, the auras of demonic demons immediately appeared. They seemed to be the demonic demons hidden in the crouching dragon mountains. In reality, the sand demon was not the only demonic demons in the mountain range. There were many other demonic demons that lived here as well. As a result, with the interference of the auras, it became even more difficult to find the sand demon. The search this time took a whole hour. Boom! At this moment, Xiaoping seemed to have sensed an unusual demonic aura on an ordinary piece of soil in a certain valley. It was extremely frightening. Although the gravel on the soil looked similar to other gravel, under the gaze of the Golden Crow's hell, there was no place for it to hide. He could see the tyrannical, demonic soul energy of the other party. Without a doubt, the fiendish demon hiding in this place must be the wanted sand demon. This sand demon's strength had also reached the pinnacle of the near ancient realm, which was almost exactly as described in the report. In fact, its strength was even more terrifying than what the report had said. Clearly, the fiendish demons chasing after the sand devil had still underestimated it. After this period of killing and devouring the power of many fiendish demons, the strength of the sand devil had greatly improved compared to before. In fact, the fastest way for fiendish demons to improve their strength was through slaughter. By devouring the origin energy of other fiendish demons, they could quickly strengthen their own origin energy. This also meant that they didn't need to cultivate at all. Just killing was enough. However, ever since the fiendish demon palace had set a rule that they couldn't kill the innocent, they couldn't do this anymore. They could only devour the abyss demon chi obediently and cultivate. The problem was that many fiendish demons were already used to such cultivation methods. How could they stand such restrictions? Naturally, they fought back. They even secretly committed many crimes and killed many fiendish demons. This also allowed their strength to improve rapidly. So it's hiding in this place. Since I found its real body, things will be easy. Xiaoping smiled. Without a doubt, with such an aura and a near ancient realm cultivation, other than the sand demon on the wanted list, there couldn't be any other person. One had to admit that the sand demon's hiding ability was really strong. It could merge its body into the ground and turn into grains of gravel, blending into nature without making a sound. In this way, who could find the sand demon's real body? Even if one passed by the sand demon dozens of times, it would still be difficult to find it. Luckily, he had the Golden Crow's hell eye. No matter how strong the sand demon's hiding ability was, it couldn't hide from him. Whoosh! In the next second, his figure flashed. In an instant, he arrived at the top of a hill near the valley and looked down from above. At this moment, the sand demon hiding here naturally sensed the aura coming from Xiaoping. However, it still didn't move, thinking that Xiaoping was just a fiendish demon that happened to be passing by. In fact, such things would happen occasionally. However, these fiendish demons would only stay in this place for a short period of time before leaving quickly. It was impossible for them to notice its existence. To be honest, at this moment, its heart was a little restless. Its killing intent was rising, because in its perception, there were no other fiendish demons within a radius of hundreds of thousands of kilometers apart from this brat. Moreover, this brat was at most an immortal realm fiendish demon. If it was fast enough, it could kill this immortal realm fiendish demon in an instant. From there, it could devour the fiendish demon source of its life and death to strengthen its own strength. Vaguely, the countless grains of gravel on the ground seemed to be gathering together under the influence of the will of the desert. When the brat was careless, it would strike with a fatal blow. Domain of flowers, coma. In an instant, Xiaoping looked down from above. Without saying anything to the sand demon, he slapped the void with his palm. Boom! In an instant, with his body as the center, the area within a radius of tens of millions of kilometers was enveloped by the domain of flowers. The surrounding space-time was filled with a pervasive fragrance. This fragrance permeated the space-time and even the soul. It was everywhere. What's going on? Why is this place suddenly so fragrant? Damn it, my consciousness seems to be blurring. The sand demon, who was originally planning to deal a fatal blow to Xiaoping, did not know why, but at this moment, it felt like its body was surrounded by an omnipresent fragrance. After smelling this fragrance, it immediately felt dizzy. It was as though it was about to faint. Its soul seemed to be dragged into a world of flowers. No, I have to wake up. I can't fall asleep. As a sand demon, it instinctively warned itself that it was in mortal danger. However, it was of no use. The omnipresent fragrance had long seeped into its soul. Dong! In the next second, the figure of the sand demon immediately appeared from the ground. It lay on the ground and started snoring. Even if there were thunder and lightning, it would not wake up. Chapter 2733. Whoosh! At this moment, a fiendish demon appeared on the ground. It was 20 meters tall and was made of yellow sand. It had a nose, mouth, ears, hands, and feet. This was the famous sand demon. Even though it was unconscious, one could still feel the terrifying aura of death and heat emanating from the sand demon's body. It seemed that wherever it appeared, it would take away all life and water. In fact, even where it was hiding, the water in the surroundings would gradually be absorbed and evaporated by it. Over time, it would become decertified. Therefore, the sand demon would not hide for too long. After all, if it was too long, the place where it was hiding would definitely change and be discovered by other fiendish demons. As expected, the flower demon bloodline is indeed unusual. It's just a small test, and I managed to capture this ferocious, evil, and extremely powerful sand demon so easily. Xiaoping stood on the spot and rubbed his chin. The sand devil had fallen into a deep slumber after being hit by Lin Li's flower domain. Perhaps the sand devil didn't even know that it had been captured. He had only used a portion of its power just now, and the sand demon that had been hiding from the Hall of Monsters and Demons for hundreds of years had fallen into his hands just like that. The battle had not even started. If other fiendish demons were to see this scene, they would be so shocked that they could not close their mouths. After all, the sand demon was a famous desert in the abyss. Its bloodline's magical powers were plunder, death, and devour. It was simply famous and was known as the god of death in the desert. Moreover, its elemental transformation ability gave it extremely strong, life-saving abilities. Even if ordinary fiendish demons were stronger than it, they would not be able to kill it. But now, he had been captured by Xiaoping without a sound. It was really shocking. Of course, this was the supreme power of illusion. Even if it was a head-on battle, it would be able to suppress people of the same cultivation level. If it was a sneak attack, it would be even more powerful. There were not many people in the world who could resist it. This power of controlling smell can still be improved and excavated more space. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He suddenly thought of Monica's behavior. He guessed that the reason why Monica was so infatuated with him at this moment, aside from the fact that she was a perverted woman herself, it also had an inseparable relationship with the explosive power of his scent. This was because this kind of smell could increase the favorability of others. If one already had a favorable impression of them, then it could increase their favorability at a geometrical speed, almost reaching the maximum level. Just as Xiaoping was about to bring the sand demon back, he lifted his head and immediately sensed the presence of more than 20 strong demonic auras from all directions. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the blink of an eye, 20 fiendish demons appeared around Xiaoping. Their strength was at least at the Middle Ancient Realm. In fact, there were even 3 immemorial Ancient Realm fiendish demons. These tyrannical demons were scattered all over the place. Their auras merged with each other, forming a restrictive array formation that enveloped the void, sealing off time and space from all directions. Under the effect of such a restrictive power, even ancient fiendish demons would not be able to escape from the seal of this restrictive array. At this moment, the area within a radius of millions of kilometers had become an absolute cage space. Six-armed lion demon Chapman. Xiaoping raised his eyebrows and looked at the leading ancient fiendish demon. According to Austin's memories, this lad was one of Monica's fanatical pursuers. He seemed to be Austin's nemesis. Austin had encountered this six-armed lion demon Chapman several times in the past. Moreover, he had been secretly warned that if he continued to get close to Monica, he would definitely be in trouble. Combining what had happened previously and a murderous intent emanating from the six-armed lion demon Chapman, he reckoned that the real Austin's death had something to do with this lad. Apart from the six-armed lion demon Chapman, there were also 5 or 6 middle ancient fiendish demons that Xiaoping had seen in the alley. They were the murderers of Austin a few days ago. At this moment, these fiendish demons had gathered here and surrounded him completely. From a murderous intent emanating from them, it was obvious that they were here to kill him. Austin, the six-armed lion demon Chapman, squinted his eyes and looked at the unconscious sand demon on the ground. Then, he looked at Xiaoping and said, "It seems like all the fiendish demons in the Rock Demon City, including me, have completely underestimated you. The infamous wanted criminal, Sand Devil, who had already reached the pinnacle of the Middle Ages, was actually defeated by you so easily. Your strength is far beyond our imagination. You really hit it well." Its face was gloomy. Even though it already knew that this lad was a cunning person who pretended to be weak, it was still infuriated to the point that it felt a stabbing pain in its lungs when it witnessed this scene. It was precisely because of its momentary mistake that it had embarrassed itself so much. Whenever it thought of this, it wished that it could tear this lad into pieces. "Austin, you lad, how dare you trick us?" One of the fiendish demons bellowed and glared at Xiaoping in anger. Seeing the infamous sand demon being subdued so easily by this lad in front of them, and the strength that he had displayed was far beyond their imagination, how could they not know that they had indeed been fooled the previous time? With such a strong illusory power, how could he be killed so easily by them? Thinking of this, all of them were filled with grief and indignation as if they had been fooled. They simply wished that they could tear this lad into pieces in order to wash away this humiliation. Previously in the alley, you actually pretended to be so weak and let us kill you so easily. Turns out that everything was just an illusion. Seems like everything has been explained clearly. You bastard knew about the assassination long ago, but you purposely fell into our trap with the purpose of fooling us. You obviously have such a strong illusory power, but you still pretended to be a gigolo here. You're a trash that lives off a woman. What are you trying to do, bastard? Your acting is really realistic. The screams when you die, the begging before you die, and the life and death battle during the battle. Even we, the old and cunning fiendish demons, were fooled by it. How many people has this bastard fooled? Do you take pleasure in fooling other fiendish demons? Many fiendish demons gritted their teeth and glared at Xia Ping angrily. They had been in the abyss for so many years, but they had never suffered such humiliation. This was the first time, especially when they recalled that after they killed this lad, they left in high spirits and announced it to everyone. They did not expect to be slapped in the face the next morning. This made them feel even more aggrieved. Xia Ping blinked his eyes. He was a little confused, not knowing what these fiendish demons were talking about. Chapter 2734. However, what kind of person was Xia Ping? He didn't understand at first, but when he saw the expressions of the demons and thought of what happened earlier, he immediately understood. These demons probably didn't know how Austin was resurrected, so they started to imagine that they were under an illusion and thought that Austin was dead. That was why they had such a misunderstanding. And these demons also saw the famous sand demon get killed by him, so they naturally suspected that they were pretending to be weak to eat the tiger. When they thought of this, they became even more furious. They simply wanted to tear Xia Ping into pieces. Why are you so angry? You should be glad. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back and said calmly, "Last time, I used a small trick to make you fall into an illusion and unable to escape, but I didn't kill you. You should be grateful. However, I spared your lives, but you don't know how to be grateful. You actually dared to bring so many demons here. Seems like you really think your lives are too long." Bullsh *T. One of the fiendish demons roared angrily. "You're just a scum who knows how to use illusions, a bastard who hides in the dark to launch sneak attacks. How dare you say something like that? Are you being merciful? You don't even have the confidence to fight us head on. That's why you use such a sneak attack. If we really fight, I can crush you with one hand. That's right. You're just a little flower demon, a gigolo who only knows how to live off a woman. How dare you speak to us so loudly? You really don't know how to write the word death. Let me tell you the truth. We've mobilized a lot of people to come here today and sealed off the void in all directions. No matter what kind of trick you use, you won't be able to leave this place today. Just accept your death. Even if all the demons descend, they won't be able to save you now." All the demons glared at Xia Ping with murderous intent. "Austin, go to hell." At this moment, the six-armed devil lion Kidman let out a furious roar. It couldn't take it anymore. The killing intent on its body had almost reached the peak, to the extent that it could shake the void. Bloodline Mystique, six-armed demon fist. In the blink of an eye, the six arms of the six-armed devil lion Chapman blasted out at the same time. It seemed like every hand was forming a seal. This was the supreme demonic seal from the abyss, and it possessed unparalleled destructive power. On its back, the six arms were constantly moving, seemingly ever-changing, turning into hundreds and thousands of illusory arms. It was as if it had transformed into the thousand-armed Buddha. An extremely terrifying aura burst forth from the body of the six-armed lion devil Chapman. It was as if he had activated the terrifying energy of the abyss origin, forming a tide. "Quick, retreat. We can't get close to Lord Chapman." Seeing this, many of the fiendish demons were astounded. They knew that this was one of the strongest bloodline skills of the six-armed demonic lion tribe. These six arms could unleash supreme demonic seals and draw upon the power of the abyss origin. They were ever-changing and could increase the strength of one's body by more than 10 times. Each arm was a peak expert. One arm controlled wind, one arm controlled fire, one arm controlled time, one arm restricted space, and so on. It was as if these demonic seals were suppressing time and space in all directions, causing it to come to a standstill. Then hundreds and thousands of arms slammed down. It was the power of hundreds and thousands of people attacking at the same time. Then, the power gathered together and could even destroy the void. When the six-armed lion devil unleashed this bloodline mystique, it was as if he had fought everywhere and killed countless fiendish demons. This was also the reason why the six-armed lion devil was known for its prowess. Interesting. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. He could also feel how powerful the six-armed lion devil Chapman was. When all six arms were unleashed, they seemed to have restricted time, space, wind, fire, water, earth, and so on. This punch had the power to shatter the void. Moreover, the strength of the six-armed lion devil Chapman had reached the peak of the primordial era. He had completely comprehended the laws of creation and was just a step away from advancing to the primordial era realm. One could imagine how powerful the six-armed lion devil Chapman was. He could definitely be considered as a peak expert of the Devil Demon Palace in the Rock Demon City. Flower domain, flower petals scatter. However, Xiaoping was neither happy nor sad. He didn't unleash the power of his main body. He merely used the power of the flower demon. After all, this was the territory of the fiendish demons from the abyss. Many experts were constantly paying attention to this place. If he exposed something that surpassed the power of the flower demon, it would probably arouse the suspicion of the kings of the abyss. No matter how weak it was, he had to isolate the possibility of exposure. Of course, the most important reason was that the bloodline power of the flower demon was more than enough to deal with the six-armed lion devil Chapman. He had long been in an invincible position. Whoosh! In an instant, the domain of transformation on his body was shrouded in a radius of 10 million kilometers. Thousands of red petals appeared on the ground. They emitted a fragrant scent that permeated the space. And every petal was an avatar of Xiaoping. They were illusory and real, real and fake. At this moment, it seemed to have become a domain world between the illusory and the real. Dong! In the next second, the six-armed lion devil Chapman's fist blasted over. It landed on Xiaoping's body and instantly shattered his body. Unfortunately, this was just his flower avatar. Even if this punch was extremely powerful, it could only shatter a dozen of his flower avatars. This was the second usage of the domain of flowers. It could create countless avatars that were illusory and real. Ordinary demons couldn't see through his real body at all and could come and go as they pleased. Damn it! The six-armed lion devil Chapman's eyes were almost spewing fire. He was furious. He was confident that his punch would win, but it only landed on this kid's avatar. This made him feel sullen, as if he had punched cotton. Such a powerful avatar technique. Many demons widened their eyes in shock. This was the first time they saw the flower demon using his full strength. Just a single blow had shocked them. He was definitely one of the top experts in the abyss. Even they could feel the fatal pressure and aura. Six-armed lion devil Chapman, you really don't know what's good for you. I didn't attack you just now because I wanted to avoid some trouble. That's why I let you live until now. Now, you actually dare to attack me. Do you really think I don't dare to kill you? Xiaoping's voice spread in all directions and reverberated back and forth. However, many demons still couldn't tell where Xiaoping's real body was. Austin, how dare you show off in front of me with such insignificant tricks? What nonsense, Avatar. Let me shatter all of you with one punch. Let's see where you can hide then. The six-armed lion devil Chapman was even more furious. Chapter 2735. Bloodline Divine Ability. Immemorial Demonic Lion Roar. In an instant, the six-armed devil lion Chapman stood on the ground and roused the huge amount of abyssal power within his body. His 6 arms dangled on the ground, seemingly forming a hexagonal frame. His body breathed in and out, and a huge amount of abyssal power was rapidly brewing. It seemed to form a terrifying vortex in the depths of his dantian before bursting out. Roar! In an instant, a terrifying demonic lion roar burst out of his body and seemed to form frightening sound waves. They condensed into substance and permeated the void, causing ripples to appear in the surrounding space-time. The surrounding fiendish demons were all aghast. They could feel the terrifying sound wave energy erupting from the 6-armed lion devil Chapman's body. If they were hit by this lion devil roar, not only their bodies, but even their souls would be shattered. This was the frightening power of the 6-armed devil lion Chapman. In the abyss, good-for-nothing children couldn't show their faces. Strength was what mattered. If they weren't strong enough, even their parents would abandon these weak descendants. They would never admit that they were weak. This was the cruelty of the abyss. And the 6-armed devil lion Chapman was one of the most outstanding descendants. His strength was obvious to all in the monster palace. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been followed by so many monsters. Just this demonic lion roar wasn't something an ordinary ancient sage could compare to. Sound wave power? Seeing the six-armed devil lion Chapman using his bloodline divine ability, Xia Ping chuckled. This was really showing off in front of Confucius, showing off in front of Guan Yu, and he actually dared to use a sound wave divine ability in front of him. He was simply courting death. If he burst out with his true strength, he might be able to instantly kill the six-armed devil lion Chapman. But even if he used the power of the flower demon, he could easily deal with this monster. Flower domain, cherry blossoms, myriad swords returned to origin. Xia Ping stood in place. Rumble, at that moment, the entire world changed drastically. It was enveloped in a boundless flower domain. Countless cherry blossom petals fell from the sky. They were pink and extremely beautiful, exuding the aura of spring. What? However, many of the fiendish demons felt their hair stand on end. They could completely feel the beauty of this flower domain. They could only feel the endless killing intent from the falling petals. It seemed as though every single petal contained an extremely terrifying sword energy. The sword energy of the cherry blossom was filled with boundless killing intent. It contained the power of the laws of karma, life and death, space-time, destruction, vibration, destruction, and many others. It was as if one's soul would immediately be destroyed if one was struck by the sword. However, countless cherry blossom petals rained down from the sky. They were countless terrifying sword auras. Such sword auras were enough to shatter everything. Bang, bang, bang. However, they did not have the time to react at all. Countless petals fell from the sky like a violent storm, bombarding the six-armed lion demon Chapman's body. In the blink of an eye, the terrifying primordial demonic lion roar was torn to pieces by the hundreds of millions of cherry blossom sword chi. The surrounding space shattered like glass and turned into powder. Damn it! The six-armed lion devil Chapman's expression changed drastically. He discovered that the sword chi that was as dazzling as cherry blossoms was incomparably terrifying. It was everywhere and indestructible. If it were to land on his body, it would probably turn into powder. Abyssal superpower, thousand-armed lion demonic palm. He let out a loud roar, and his six arms danced wildly. They seemed to have turned into a circle. In an instant, they seemed to have transformed into hundreds and thousands of hands, forming a unique chi circle. This chi circle enveloped his huge body, leaving no gaps. This was the six-armed lion demon's defensive ultimate skill. Once it was performed, it would be independent of time and space. It was simply invulnerable. Dong, dong, dong. Immediately, hundreds of millions of cherry blossom sword chi bombarded down like raindrops. All of them bombarded the six-armed lion demon Chapman's body, exploding with terrifying sword chi prowess. The ground he was standing on was completely unable to withstand such terrifying destructive power. In an instant, a crater that was millions of kilometers deep was shaken out. Cracking sounds rang out, gravel flew in all directions, and cracks spread out. Meanwhile, the chi circle that the six-armed lion demon Chapman had unleashed was hit to the point where cracks appeared. Bang bang sounds rang out, and countless fine cracks appeared. At the same time, his vital energy and blood were boiling, almost unable to withstand it. It was as if his skin had been shaken to the point where countless bloody scars had appeared. Even though he had barely withstood it, his internal organs had been severely injured. It can't be right. How can Austin's strength be so terrifying? An ancient demon was dumbfounded. Xiaoping's performance had totally changed his view of the world. To be honest, if they had known that this lad's strength was so terrifying, they wouldn't have offended him. Damn that Austin. He's too despicable. To think that he had been pretending to be weak all along. If we hadn't chased him, we wouldn't have known that he had hidden his strength so deeply. What realm is he at? Is he at the Middle Ancient or Immemorial Ancient realm? The other ancient fiendish demon gnashed his teeth. He could even beat Chapman up to this state. Without a doubt, he must be an Immemorial Ancient realm demon. Damn him. He's clearly an ancient demon, but he still pretended to be an immortal demon. Why is he hiding his strength? Was he plotting? We have to capture him and interrogate him to find out his intentions and background. Many abyss demons gritted their teeth. They felt that they had been completely fooled by this lad. This lad had hidden his strength too deeply. It was the kind that was unfathomable. At the same time, an even stronger killing intent surged in their hearts. They had offended such a terrifying demon. If they didn't get rid of him now, they would be in deep trouble in the future. This time, they were the ones ganging up on this lad. Next time, it would probably be this lad ganging up on them. No matter what, they had to grab hold of this opportunity to kill this lad and bury him here. Oh no, Lord Chapman is in danger. Suddenly, an ancient demon's hair stood up. He seemed to have sensed that Chapman was in great danger. He wanted to help, but it was too late. Under the gazes of all the abyssal demons, the countless cherry blossom sword energies fell. After a dozen rounds of attacks, they completely shattered the defense of the six-armed lion devil Chapman and shattered the chi sphere on his body. However, before the six-armed lion demon Chapman could do anything to defend himself, Xia Ping approached Chapman silently. His body merged into the void and surpassed the speed of light. B***starred. The six-armed lion demon's hair stood up. He felt a fatal danger. This was the life and death of an ancient pinnacle demon. He couldn't help but roar. All the muscles in his body swelled up, and his strength multiplied. Chapter 2736. At this moment, the six-armed lion demon Chapman was giving it his all. It was as though he had cast the Sky Fiend burning blood technique. Even his soul power was ignited in order to fight to the death with Xia Ping. At such a critical juncture, he couldn't say anything. He could only fight to the death and defeat this terrifying flower demon. It's too late to struggle. With a swoosh, Xia Ping arrived in front of the six-armed lion devil Chapman silently. He looked at Chapman indifferently and pointed his finger at Chapman's forehead. Supreme Mystique, Indra finger. This finger contained the power of the law of karma and the law of life and death. Its power was boundlessly terrifying and could destroy time and space. No mystique or mystique could measure the power of this finger. This finger seemed to contain the power of the god of the underworld. It was also because of this terrifying power of death that the six-armed lion demon Chapman was so terrified. He instantly cast the Sky Fiend burning blood technique in order to survive. The problem was that even though he knew this, he couldn't dodge or block it. This was a sure kill attack. Dong! This finger tapped on Chapman's forehead lightly. The terrifying power of the law of karma and the law of life and death immediately caused Chapman's body to explode. No! The six-armed lion demon Chapman let out a shrill scream. His eyes were filled with terror, fear, regret, begging for mercy, unwillingness, and other emotions. He was already extremely regretful. If he had known that this flower demon was so terrifying, he wouldn't have dared to provoke it. Wasn't he courting his own death? However, it was too late for him to know this. There was no medicine for regret now. Boom! In an instant, the power of Indra's finger completely exploded, and in the next second, the six-armed lion demon Chapman's body and soul exploded from the finger, turning into powder and disappearing into void space. At the same time, this finger also broke all the karma of the six-armed lion demon Chapman. It shattered the scene of time and space. Even if an invincible saint came to investigate, he wouldn't be able to find the cause of his death. It was as though the six-armed lion demon Chapman had vanished in this abyss. Lord Chapman. Many abyssal demons widened their eyes and couldn't help but scream. Even though abyssal demons were heartless creatures, they knew what it meant to grieve when the rabbit died. When they saw Chapman die tragically in the hands of this flower devil, they couldn't help but be filled with boundless rage. Damn you, Austin. You actually dared to kill Lord Chapman. You're courting death. Kill this kid and avenge Lord Chapman. Attack together. Surround him. Don't give him any chance to escape. Many abyssal demons were seething with killing intent. They had already decided to use all their strength to swarm up and tear this brat to pieces. They would definitely not give Xia Ping any chance to escape. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In just an instant, these abyssal demons attacked from all directions. Abyssal domains erupted from their bodies at the same time. Or perhaps it was the domain of darkness. It was as if it had plundered all light, absorbed all sound, and swallowed everything. Or perhaps it was the domain of flames. It was filled with terrifying abyssal demon flames that could burn everything. Any living creature that entered it would be swallowed up by the abyssal demon flames and turned into ashes. Or perhaps it was the domain of ice. Strong winds howled and snow swirled. The temperature was extremely low, as though it had reached the realm of absolute zero. Cold air filled the air and froze time and space. The might of these demon domains was extremely terrifying. As they came crashing down one after another, even the six-armed lion demon Chapman wouldn't be able to withstand it. He would be killed instantly and dismembered. This was the terrifying might of dozens of abyssal demons joining forces at the same time. It was enough to crush any ancient demon. The might that erupted from them was even more terrifying. Fool, you've already stepped into my domain. Go back to sleep. Xiaoping stood on the spot and looked at these abyssal demons calmly. Boom! In an instant, the flower domain on his body erupted. It was extremely terrifying and powerful. It completely replaced the domains of these abyssal demons and enveloped the space and time in all directions. The radius of 10 million kilometers instantly turned into a world of flowers. It was filled with an enchanting fragrance. This fragrance permeated every corner of these abyssal demons' bodies and even their souls. Oh no, why did the power in my body suddenly disappear? Many abyssal demons' expressions changed and they panicked. They suddenly discovered that they had lost all their strength. It was as though all their divine abilities had disappeared. They couldn't use any abyssal divine ability. If they didn't have abyssal divine abilities and abyssal demonic power, they would simply be lambs waiting to be slaughtered. How could they contend against this terrifying flower devil Austin? How could such a ridiculous thing happen? What a joke. Why did it disappear? It's very simple. Because you've already fallen into my illusion. Xiaoping faintly smiled and looked at these abyssal demons. With a snap of his fingers, countless cherry blossoms danced in the air and merged into the bodies of these abyssal demons. With a plop, these abyssal demons simply didn't know what was happening. They were like pieces of wood. They fainted on the ground and started snoring. Some of the abyssal demons were even snoring peacefully, as though they were having a good dream. As expected of the flower devil's bloodline power, this ability to control scent and cast illusions is silent and almost invincible. Xiaoping instantly sighed. Originally, dealing with these abyssal demons would require a lot of effort. After all, if the situation was not good, these abyssal demons might flee, or they might even be reduced to nothing. There would always be a few of these demons that managed to escape, and some would escape. Or even if they didn't escape, if they fought to the death with him and self-destructed their bodies, it would cause a lot of trouble. However, with the flower domain and the sin illusion art, these abyss demons could be subdued in an instant. No matter how powerful they were, they couldn't resist the unconscious aura. Moreover, because of the smell, they were unable to detect anything and possessed an extremely strong concealment ability. It could be said that if this bloodline mystic ability was developed, its power would be extraordinary. Walala, thinking of this, Xiaoping waved his hand and immediately captured the dozens of unconscious abyssal demons on the ground, including the six-armed lion devil Chapman. He planned to throw them all to the world tree and let it devour the corpses of these abyssal demons. He believed that the energy contained in these abyssal demons would definitely benefit the world tree greatly. It might even allow the world tree to grow further. Chapter 2737. Half an hour later, Xiaoping returned to the Devil Demon Palace in the Rock Demon City with the corpse of a sand demon in his hand. He had already killed the sand demon with his own hands. Originally, he planned to let the Tree of World devour the sand demon. However, if he wanted to complete the mission, he would need the corpse of the sand demon as a verification item. Otherwise, it would not be considered a success. At this time, he carried the corpse of the sand demon to the mission hall to submit the mission. What? You killed the sand demon with your own hands? In the mission hall, many supervisors and other fiendish demons who came to accept the mission were shocked when they heard the news. They looked at Xia Ping in disbelief. In their eyes, this kid was just a toy boy. His strength was only at the immortal realm. How could he have killed the sand demon that had reached the peak of the ancient peak? If this kid really dared to find trouble with the sand demon, he would be courting death. He would be killed by the sand demon at any time. He might even die without a complete corpse. The problem was that the infamous, vicious, and cruel sand demon had actually died in the hands of this kid, and even his corpse had been brought back by this kid. That's right. It's just a sand demon. I can kill it easily. That's nothing. I don't know what those fiendish demons who chased after the sand demon did. I can't believe they were killed by the sand demon. What a joke. The quality of the fiendish demons in the Devil Demon Palace is getting worse and worse. All kinds of people can join us. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back with a calm look on his face. What? Hearing these words, many fiendish demons were so angry that their noses became a little crooked. Their bodies were trembling a little. They wanted to punch this kid in the nose. It was just killing a sand demon. What was he doing here? How dare he look down on fiendish demons? How dare he open his mouth here? To be honest, other fiendish demons could say such words. Only a toy boy who lived off a woman was not qualified to say such words. They had never seen such a shameless guy. He had only completed a small task, but he was already so cocky. They wanted to beat this brat up. However, this kid had indeed completed his mission. Even if they wanted to say something to refute him, there was nothing they could do. They could only feel extremely sullen in their hearts. Supervisor, what's wrong? Hurry up and accept the mission. What are you dawdling here for? Believe it or not, I will report you. I will say that you have nothing to do all day and are here to make up the numbers. Do you know how many demons can take your place? Xia Ping shouted. F***CK, this bastard was already thinking of going to the heavens. The faces of the demon supervisors of the mission hall turned green with anger. They almost couldn't control their urge to hammer this bastard to death. If it wasn't for the fact that this kid had Lady Monica's support, they would definitely make things difficult for him until he died. However, humans had no choice but to lower their heads under the eaves, even if they were magical beasts. Now that this bastard had Lady Monica backing him up, there was nothing they could do no matter how angry they were. One by one, the demon supervisors stepped forward and used many spells to verify. They came to the conclusion that this sand demon was indeed a wanted demon and was killed by this kid. Lord Austin, we have completed the verification. Your mission has indeed been completed. You can now receive the reward for this mission. At the same time, Lord Austin will also be promoted by 1 level in the Demon Hall. One of the demon supervisors said helplessly. It had originally wanted to find out if there was anything fishy going on. Once it discovered any flaws, even if this brat had Lady Monica's support, it would still make this brat suffer. However, there was nothing fishy. If he dared to not handle this fairly, he would be the one to suffer. He could only let this kid pass. That's good. Don't dawdle all day. Don't do it again. Otherwise, I will complain about you again, Xia Ping scolded, then turned around and left. This bastard. Seeing Xia Ping's figure leave, the group of demon supervisors could not help but turn green. It was the first time they had been so vexed. Previously, they had been mocking and looking down on this demon gigolo. But now, this gigolo had become arrogant and even dared to point at them. They could not wait to tear this kid apart. Why is this Austin so arrogant? Didn't he just suck up to Lady Monica? Without Lady Monica's protection, this pretty boy is just a fart. Anyone can crush him. That's right. He even said he wanted to complain about us. Look at that arrogant face of his. He's like a fox exploiting the tiger's might. I really want to beat him up. Why hasn't the previous rumor come true yet? Didn't they say that some demons wanted to kill him for a long time? Why haven't they succeeded yet? This is too infuriating. Sigh, good demons don't live long, while bad demons live for tens of thousands of years. This pretty boy has ruined the reputation of our demon hall. He's clearly not that capable, but he's talking big. The group of demons clenched their teeth in anger. They had never suffered such humiliation in their lives. Right, that kid is only an immortal demon. Logically speaking, He should not be able to kill a sand demon that reached the peak of the near ancient era. How did Austin complete the mission? It doesn't make sense. Some demons could not understand. Because the sand demon was a famous and vicious demon. Many demons from a near ancient era and even the middle ancient era had tried to kill the sand demon, but to no avail. Either they could not find it, or they could not defeat it. Anyway, the mission was very troublesome, and the rewards kept increasing. But now, Austin had actually completed it. This really shocked them. Indeed, I was also confused just now. I thought that the kid found other strong demons, or even Lady Monica for help. But after checking a few times, it was all done by the kid. The other fiendish demon was also a little confused. No matter how he thought about it, he couldn't understand why such a thing would happen. Could it be that the kid is actually very capable when he's pretending to be weak? Some demons made their guesses. Bullsh asterisk T. He's just a pretty boy. How capable can he be? That's right. He's just a flower demon. If I let him advance to the near ancient era or middle ancient era, he won't be a match for me. That's right. His bloodline has already determined his future. And if he's really capable, would he live off a woman? Would he still be a pretty boy? That's impossible. Many demons laughed coldly. They were willing to believe that this pretty boy was an expert. They might as well believe that pigs could climb trees. What a joke. Chapter 2738. Actually, I might know what's going on. At this moment, a crow demon suddenly spoke up. Oh, what's going on? Hurry up and tell us. All the fiendish demons looked over curiously at the crow demon. That's what I heard as well. The crow demon said mysteriously, I have a friend whose relative's younger sister works in this gigolo's mansion. She saw that Lady Monica was very attentive to this gigolo's mission and seemed to have given him many treasures. Treasures? What kind of treasures are they? A fiendish demon asked impatiently. I'm not too sure what the treasures are exactly, but I heard that there are 7 or 8 of them. One of them is called the nightmare vine. There's also a one-time use killing fruit, ice spike demonic fruit. There's even an abyss demonic treasure, shadow boots, etc. The crow demon spilled everything he knew in one go. F***CK, a top-grade protective treasure of the abyss, nightmare vine. A fiendish demon's eyes widened. It said that this plant is a powerful plant that can only be born in the deepest parts of the abyss. It has an immortal body and can regenerate continuously. If he could refine a nightmare vine and turn it into his protective treasure, it would be equivalent to having an extra life, as well as the most powerful fighter. No wonder this gigolo was able to kill the famous sand demon. I'm afraid after he refined the nightmare vine, he controlled it to kill the sand demon. He was so jealous that his intestines turned green. Perhaps the nightmare vine alone isn't enough. After all, the sand demon is extremely cunning. If it sees that the situation is bad, it can escape in an instant. In the past, some ancient fiendish demons tried to capture it, but the sand demon escaped in the same way. Another fiendish demon said, but if there's an ice spike demonic fruit, the situation will be different. If this ice spike demonic fruit is thrown out, it can instantly freeze time and space in all directions. No matter how cunning the sand demon is, it will be hard for it to escape the freezing power of the ice spike demonic fruit. It can freeze its gravel body in an instant. It voiced its conjecture. And then there's the umber boots. That's a famous treasure in the dark abyss. Once you wear it, you can blend into the shadows. It's a first-rate treasure for escaping. It's said that even ancient demons would have a hard time killing an immortal demon with the umber boots on. Another demon revealed his own rumor. My God, just how good is Lady Monica to this gigolo? She's even willing to give such a treasure to him. Isn't that too unfair? That's right. Just what kind of magic potion did that brat feed Lady Monica? Why is she treating him so well? We've worked so hard and risked our lives to complete the mission and receive the reward. But this kid, after receiving some treasures from Lady Monica, he easily completed the mission. I can't accept it. To think that this pretty boy was acting all high and mighty and boasting shamelessly. He said that our monstrous demon palace is a mix of fish and dragons, and that he can only be so arrogant because of the treasure that Lady Monica gave him. If it wasn't for Lady Monica's help, this kid would have been killed by the sand demons long ago. Damn pretty boy. He only knows how to rely on the power of a woman. Without Lady Monica's help, let's see how long he can be so arrogant. Just you wait. This pretty boy's good days will come to an end soon. If Lady Monica hates this kid, this bastard will definitely die a horrible death. So many treasures actually fell into the hands of this pretty boy. That's such a waste. Many demons gritted their teeth. They were so jealous that their intestines turned green. They were so jealous of Xia Ping's experience. No words could describe their feelings at the moment. They worked so hard to get those treasures, but now this pretty boy got them just by sucking up to a woman. This was too unfair. They couldn't accept it. But no matter how unhappy they were, they couldn't do anything about it. However, the image and legend of Xia Ping living off a woman spread more and more loudly in the Devil Demon Palace. It also spread more and more widely, almost to the extent that everyone knew about it. A few days later, in a mansion in the monstrous Demon Palace. That was where the Rock Demon City's monstrous Demon Palace's Vice Palace Lord, Nine-Armed Lion Demon Jintutin, resided. He was a terrifying Archean peak demon, and his strength was comparable to Monica's. At the same time, he was also the father of six-armed lion demon Chapman. At this moment, dozens of Chapman's loyal subordinates were summoned to the mansion. They were lying on the ground in fear, panicking and extremely flustered. Tell me what's going on. Where's my son, Chapman? Where'd he go? Why hasn't he shown up until now? Nine-Armed Lion Demon Jintutin sat on top and looked down. His body emitted a suffocating and terrifying pressure that suppressed the space-time in all directions. It seemed like the entire mansion was enveloped by his world domain. It was completely isolated from the space-time in the outside world. No power could invade this world domain. Vaguely, the center of this world domain seemed to be supported by 9 arms. They were like 9 pillars of the world, emitting boundless power that made people tremble in fear. Lord Jintutin, we don't know. We really don't know. We only know that Lord Chapman brought a dozen elite subordinates and left the monstrous demon palace to kill Flower Devil Austin. However, there hasn't been any news since they left. We tried to investigate, but we didn't find any clues. That's right, Lord Jintutin. We're innocent. We're really innocent. This matter really has nothing to do with us. If something happened to Lord Chapman, it definitely has nothing to do with us. It definitely has something to do with Flower Devil Austin. If someone wants to cause trouble, they should be looking for that kid. Lord Jintutin, please investigate clearly. We're all innocent. We're all loyal subordinates of Lord Chapman. We're definitely not disloyal. One by one, the monstrous demons knelt on the ground and kowtowed. They were terrified and trembled all over. Austin, are you talking about that little girl Monica's boy toy? That pretty boy wants to kill my son Chapman? Do you think I'm senile? Nine-Armed Lion Demon Jintutin snorted coldly. His murderous aura suddenly erupted. Boom! Immediately, the dozens of monstrous demons kneeling on the ground felt a terrifying pressure. It was as if a world was crushing down on them. Their bodies were pressed to the ground, instantly shattering the floorboards. At the same time, their bodies couldn't withstand such a terrifying pressure. They immediately suffered internal injuries and couldn't help but spit out blood. Dense cracks appeared on the ground like a spiderweb. Cracking sounds could be heard as gravel flew in all directions. Chapter 2739. Spare me, Lord Jintutin, spare me. This matter has nothing to do with us. If something really happened to Lord Chapman, it must have something to do with that flower demon. That's right, let's capture that flower demon and interrogate him. That brat definitely knows where Lord Chapman and the other demons went. Apart from him, I don't think any other demon knows. Lord Gunadukin, we're all loyal and devoted people. We're not disloyal at all. The abyssal demons knelt on the ground and continuously kowtowed, begging for mercy. At the same time, they wanted to make the trouble seem like it was all the flower demon's fault and had nothing to do with them. Flower Demon Austin. The 9-armed lion devil, Jintutin's eyes flashed with a cold light and killing intent. In reality, he wasn't stupid. He naturally knew that this matter had something to do with the flower demon. It was even possible that his son Chapman's death was caused by that flower demon Austin. Otherwise, how could his son Chapman disappear without a trace? If it was possible, it simply wished for nothing more than to personally make a move and capture Austin. However, he thought of Monica, the daughter of the Night Devil King. At the same time, she was also the Vice Palace Lord of the Rock Demon City's Devil Palace. Whether it was strength or status, she was not below him. If he captured that flower demon Austin for no reason, he would definitely be retaliated. He had to consider Monica's feelings and act cautiously. After all, if he offended Monica, he would also be in big trouble. Lord Jintutin. At this time, one of his trusted subordinates said, "Actually, there's no need to rush this matter. Lord Monica can protect him for a while, but she can't protect him forever. Even if we can't make a move against that brat in the Devil Palace, that doesn't mean we can't make a move outside. Moreover, once we capture that brat, even if we kill him, I believe Lord Monica won't become enemies with us. However, if Lord Jintutin makes a move in front of everyone, it's the same as slapping Lord Monica's face. Even if Lord Monica isn't willing, she will still become enemies with Lord Jintutin. Jintutin, please be careful." He had clearly analyzed the pros and cons of this matter. Monica, hearing this, Jintutin narrowed his eyes and retracted his killing intent. Although he was furious, he wasn't a fool. Even if it wasn't afraid of Monica, it couldn't help but respect the Night Devil King behind Monica. If it offended its immediate superior, it might not be able to bear the consequences. "All right, I'll spare that brat's life for now. If I ever get the chance, I'll definitely skin him alive," Jintutin said coldly. The entire mansion was filled with a terrifying killing intent. At this moment, in Xiaoping's mansion. At this time, one of his clones stayed in the quiet room, while his real body returned to the world of the classic of mountains and seas to cultivate in seclusion. The reason why he chose to cultivate in seclusion was that he had gained insight into illusion techniques from the bloodline of the flower demon. Deep in his heart, he was greatly touched and reached the opportunity to advance to the next realm of illusion techniques. The mysteries of illusion techniques are the senses of smell, hearing, touch, sight, taste, and the sixth sense. These six senses form the perception and description of the outside world. If I can't control these six senses, then I can control this life. Xiaoping sat cross-legged on the ground. With the comprehension of the bloodline of the flower demon, he had completely comprehended the mysteries of the sense of smell and understood how to use smell to control and confuse life. As the saying went, one thing made everything clear. With the comprehension of the sense of smell, he also comprehended the remaining five senses one by one. At this moment, he seemed to have comprehended the supreme principle of illusion techniques, controlling the six senses. Asterisk dong. Asterisk in the blink of an eye, Xiaoping's body shook. His sea of consciousness caused the void to tremble. With his body as the center, waves of soul fluctuations spread out in all directions, covering a radius of hundreds of thousands of light years. One illusory world after another descended. In the end, a total of 10 illusory worlds appeared, shrouding each area with Xiaoping's body as the center. These illusion worlds also had different forms. Whether it was life, history, or personality, they were all completely different. They descended into this world with extreme realism. Initially, it was extremely difficult to create such a realistic illusion world. Now, 10 such realistic-looking illusion worlds were created in an instant. This was simply unheard of. Without a doubt, Xiaoping had reached the realm of an illusion grandmaster. He had finally broken through from the perfect realm of one thought, one world, to the grandmaster realm of one thought, giving birth to myriad worlds. At this level of illusion techniques, the number of life forms in the universe could be counted on one's fingers. I finally advanced to the realm of one thought, giving birth to myriad worlds. At this moment, Xiaoping was extremely excited. Previously, he had obtained the soul secret technique, Zhuangzhou's dream butterfly, which allowed him to advance to the perfect realm of one thought, one world. At this moment, he had obtained the bloodline of the flower demon and gained insight into the mysteries of controlling the six senses. This allowed him to comprehend by analogy and break through in one fell swoop, advancing to the supreme realm of one thought, giving birth to myriad worlds. Of course, this realm was also divided into the early, middle, late, and perfect realm. At the early realm, one would be able to construct 10 illusion worlds with a single thought. At the middle realm, one would be able to construct 100 illusion worlds. At the late realm, one would be able to construct 1,000 illusion worlds. Once it reached perfection, one would be able to construct 10,000 illusory worlds. Of course, the so-called 10,000 was just an imaginary number. Depending on the soul energy of the cultivator, some sages could easily construct hundreds of thousands of illusory worlds, layer upon layer. This was different from an individual's ability. This realm was the limit of illusion techniques. It could even deceive the gods. This is too wonderful. Is this how I construct illusions? Xiaoping sat cross-legged on the ground. After breaking through to the supreme realm of one thought, giving birth to myriad worlds, he now felt that constructing an illusion was extremely easy. Originally, when he constructed an illusion world, he would need to think about many details and try his best to restore the details to the greatest extent to prevent other sages from noticing any flaws. However, it was different now. After comprehending the six senses, he realized that what he had done previously was simply a waste of effort. No matter how meticulous it was, there would still be a moment when there would be a flaw. No matter how perfect it was, there would always be a flaw. Even the gods would be negligent. His pursuit of perfection in the details of the illusion world was simply putting the cart before the horse. However, it was different if he were to deceive the six senses of life. By forcefully changing the perception of the other party, even if they knew that this world was unreal, they would subconsciously believe that it was real. Sogu Reading Website. Chapter 2740. Of course, this ability to blind and distort the six senses wasn't as sick as the true demonic god's ability to forcefully reverse reality and change cause and effect. It could only change one's perception. In reality, once one reached the level of the true demonic god, it wouldn't be as simple as just illusions. At the very least, one would have to reach the third level of illusions to create something out of nothing. However, even an invincible sage wouldn't be able to reach such a level. This was already the level of gods. Due to his understanding of illusions, Xiaoping finally broke through his limits and reached the unparalleled level of world, giving birth to a single thought. He was able to easily create many illusory secret realms. Even an ancient sage wouldn't be able to escape from an illusory world like this. Xiaoping was extremely excited. He knew that this was a technique of multiple illusory worlds. Even if an ancient sage could break through an illusory world, there would still be another illusory world within. Break through one, and another, and such illusory worlds were stacked on top of each other, countless and endless. If one could reach the full mastery level of world, giving birth to a single thought, even an invincible sage would go crazy and wouldn't be able to escape from such illusory worlds. Of course, even if an invincible sage could break through so many illusory worlds, they would probably only be able to wake up from such illusions after billions of years. He could make use of the power of illusions to seal demigods one after another and trap them in an eternal illusory maze, unable to escape. Even though he had only reached the early stage of myriad worlds' birth with one thought and could only construct 10 illusory worlds, when the 10 illusory worlds enveloped him, even primordial sages would fall into an endless illusory maze and be unable to escape from it. It would make them doubt their lives. Illusion is reality, and reality is illusion. Xiaoping sat cross-legged on the ground. Thanks to the increase in his illusory state, he realized that his comprehension of the laws of the universe had reached a new level as well. His mind had fused with the source of the universe. Walala, he realized that his comprehension of the law of creation had deepened. In the depths of his consciousness, Pieces of law of creation fragments seemed to be forming rapidly as his aura was getting stronger. I'm about to break through. At this moment, Xiaoping's eyes shone with a glint as he was extremely excited. Initially, he had thought that he would require an extremely long period of time to reach the immemorial ancient full cultivation state. However, he had still underestimated his own cultivation speed. Thanks to the improvement of his illusory realm, his comprehension of the law of creation has also become faster. All of this is like water flowing when the conditions are right, without any difficulty. Still lacking some energy. Thinking of this, Xiaoping took out 3 world fruits. These were the world fruits he had obtained from the ancient fiends he had killed in the hell world and given to the world tree to refine. The outside of the world fruit was also covered in golden runes, giving off a mystical aura. It was as if there was a miniature world within the fruit. Any cultivator would salivate at the sight of these world fruits and be extremely excited. The reason why Xiaoping hadn't used these world fruits was because he hoped that good steel could be used on the edge of a blade. He couldn't waste it carelessly, but he was at a critical moment of breaking through. Therefore, these world fruits could finally be put to use. They could help him break through his cultivation level in one go. Rumble. Without hesitation, he swallowed the 3 world fruits. The moment they melted in his mouth, they produced a massive amount of source energy of the universe. This source energy gushed into his body madly, as though it was free, gushing into his limbs and bones. In fact, it even gushed into every single cell of his body. At the same time, he could feel the powers within his body increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The purple mansion space in the depths of his consciousness was expanding outwards as well, and his powers were getting stronger. Boom! After a long time, Xiaoping's body jerked out. It was as though his consciousness had smashed through a huge door in the void. He had finally broken through this bottleneck and stepped into a new cultivation state. Immemorial, ancient, full cultivation state. I've leveled up. Xiaoping opened his eyes, which shone with a frightening radiance. It was as though he could pierce through the void in all directions. Within the depths of his consciousness, there were already 3,000 law of creation shards gathered. Every single law of creation shard filled the surroundings of his consciousness, resonating with one another and producing a strong, mysterious, and immeasurable power of creation. It was filled with a strong chi of creation. It was as though he was just one step away from metamorphosing from creation and comprehending the laws of the world. From there, he would be able to level up to the ancient saint state. This was the strongest saint below demigods. I'm just too strong now. Xiaoping could sense that after he had leveled up to the immemorial ancient full cultivation state, the area that his consciousness power could cover had already reached a diameter of 3 million light years. If news of this were to spread out, even invincible saints would be scared half to death. Under the envelopment of such a strong consciousness power, it seemed as though he could kill countless living beings with just a single thought. There was no need for him to make a move at all. With a single look, living beings that were much weaker than him would have their souls shattered into pieces. They would not be able to withstand such a terrifying mental pressure. If he had not retracted his mental pressure, even an ancient saint would not have been able to stand firmly before him. This was a pressure that came from a being at the top of the food chain, let alone the fact that he was proficient in illusory arts and had reached the unparalleled realm of producing 10,000 worlds with a single thought. Just based on his illusory arts alone, he would probably be able to kill off ordinary ancient saints with ease. The Golden Crow of Hell bloodline has leveled up as well. Thanks to the improvement of his cultivation, Xiaoping also realized that after he had leveled up to the creation full cultivation state, the Golden Crow of Hell cells in his body were also awakening at a crazy rate. The rate of awakening was even faster than before. 10 billion, 30 billion, 50 billion, 100 billion. In the end, the bloodline in his body had awakened 500 billion Golden Crow of Hell cells. One must know that he had awakened too. 5 trillion Golden Crow of Hell cells previously. If he were to include these 500 billion, he would have awakened a total of 3 trillion golden crow of hell cells. This caused the golden crow of hell bloodline in his body to rise to another level. An extremely strong golden crow of hell power was brewing in his body. It was as though the depths of his Dantian sea of qi had nurtured a hellfire that was giving birth to terrifying golden crow of hell flames. If the golden crow of hell flames in his body were to erupt completely, the entire rock demon city would probably be incinerated into ashes by such flames. There would not be anything left. Chapter 2742. A month later, Xiaoping finally walked out of seclusion. After a month of cultivation, he had completely consolidated his complete immemorial ancient realm cultivation and reached the level of mastery. At the same time, he had a clearer understanding of his soaring soul power and bloodline power. Vaguely, he seemed to have comprehended the laws of the world and showed signs of advancing to immemorial saint. However, his power was still concealed by the formless mask. If he really exploded, it would attract the attention of other demons. Lord Austin. Just as Xiaoping was about to leave the quiet room, a maidservant immediately walked in with a very respectful attitude. There is a very urgent matter that I need to report to you. What is it? Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. Lord Night Devil King has returned. He gathered all the demons in the demon palace to gather in the main hall. It seems that he intends to hold an important meeting. This meeting also requires Lord Austin's participation. The maid told him the news. Night Devil King. Xiaoping squinted his eyes. He knew that Night Devil King was Monica's father and also the hall master of the Rock Demon City Demon Palace. His strength had reached invincible realm. If such a person was in the human race, he would be an ancestor-level expert with a high status. Of course, even in the Abyss world, such strength would be at the peak of the Abyss. He was one of the strongest experts and had absolute control over everything. In reality, Night Devil King wasn't just the hall master of the Monster Demon Palace. He was also an elder of the Monster Demon Palace. He had an important position in the Monster Demon Palace. One could say that the reason why so many demons respected and feared Monica was partly because of Monica's strength and partly because of Night Devil King's strength. Usually, Night Devil King wouldn't stay in a Monster Demon Palace and would stay in the headquarters to deal with all sorts of important matters. Now that he had returned to the Monster Demon Palace and was holding a meeting, it was a little unusual. When will the meeting be held? Xiaoping asked. It will be held in 3 days. By then, be it the demons in the Monster Demon Palace or those who are out on missions, they will all return. It will be a grand scene. The maid replied. I understand. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He felt that something must have happened for the Night Devil King to suddenly return to the Demon Palace. It might have something to do with the invasion of the modern universe. No matter what, he had to be careful in this meeting and find out some important information. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. Xiaoping originally wanted to ask Monica for some information, but he found that Monica seemed to be with her father, the Night Devil King, and he couldn't get in touch with her for a while. Therefore, he could only give up on the idea of gathering information and wait until now. At this moment, in a large hall of the fiendish demon palace. At this moment, the hall was filled with powerful demons. Undying demons, ancient demons, and medieval demons were everywhere. They could only be considered ordinary and stood at the back. Only the ancient demons and immemorial demons could be considered as the upper echelons of the fiendish demon palace and stood at the forefront. Even the 9 Vice Hall Masters, who were all archaic realm demons, including Monica and the 9-armed lion devil Gentutin, were all here. As expected of the Abyss world, it's just a sub-hall, but it actually has such strength. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and sensed the strength of the demons in the hall. Just the strength of a sub-hall was probably comparable to the strength of a large race in the universe. Although it still couldn't compare to the peak races, it was still quite terrifying. After all, this was just a sub-hall. There are thousands of sub-halls like this in the Abyss continent. One could imagine how deep the foundation of the Abyss world was. It was no wonder that it could become a great threat to the various races. Boom! At this moment, the void trembled and a gigantic black hole appeared on the high platform of the main hall. Ripples appeared in the space as a terrifying power of darkness spread out from the black hole. The darkness that was within reach seemed to drown everything, devouring the endless sunlight and turning everything into a world of darkness. Dong! Suddenly, the void trembled slightly, and a huge, dark golden throne descended on the platform. A tall, middle-aged man in a suit with a rough face and a full beard appeared in front of the many abyssal demons. He exuded a noble, ancient, and chaotic aura from head to toe. Night Demon King. Xia Ping's pupils constricted. He could sense the terrifying strength and aura that the middle-aged man exuded. It was no weaker than the 9 invincible realm patriarchs of the human race. He could feel the endless darkness from the middle-aged man. It was as though a bit of dark power could completely devour the sunlight of a world. The vastness of this power wasn't something that archaic sages could compare to. He had thought that he could kill archaic sages with his bare hands now that he had reached the immemorial ancient complete realm. He thought that he might be able to fight invincible realm sages. But now, it seemed that he had underestimated invincible realm sages. The difference between archaic realm and invincible realm was probably even greater than the difference between Thunder Tribulation realm and Sempiternal realm. After all, this was a terrifying existence known as a demigod. He already had a bit of divinity in him, and the power he contained was not something that archaic sages could compare to. If that wasn't the case, there wouldn't be so few sages who could reach invincible realm. Swoosh! In an instant, the Night Demon King's gaze swept out in all directions, enveloping this region like a god. Every abyss demon felt as if all their secrets had been seen through by this gaze, making them feel insignificant, as if they could not hide anything from this famous demon king. His gaze seemed to linger on Xia Ping for a while, as though he wanted to find out everything about Xia Ping. But with the power of the formless mask blocking him, he couldn't find out too much. Moreover, he didn't linger on Xia Ping for too long. In just an instant, he retracted his gaze. Everyone, before Xia Ping could continue thinking, the Night Demon King, who was sitting on the throne, spoke up and said directly, "I've returned to the Rock Demon City just to tell you guys one thing. The Abyss Forbidden Land is about to open." What? The moment he said that, all the abyssal demons present couldn't help but be shocked. All of them revealed looks of disbelief. They hadn't expected to hear such an important piece of news. Sogu Reading Website. Chapter 2743. Abyss Forbidden Area? Xia Ping's pupils shrank when he heard that. In fact, after obtaining all of Austin's memories, he had a certain level of understanding of the Abyss world. If one were to ask him where he wanted to go the most, it would definitely be the Abyss Forbidden Area. It was said that the Abyss Forbidden Area was a super forbidden area formed when the gods fell in the previous universe era. It was equivalent to a small dark forbidden area. One could imagine how dangerous the Abyss Forbidden Area was. Even demigod experts would fall in there. In fact, there were too many demigod fiendish demons that had fallen in there. It had become a place that many fiendish demons were terrified of. It had already been listed as a forbidden area. There were layers of restrictive formations around it. Ordinary fiendish demons couldn't enter at all. Of course, Xia Ping wanted to enter the Abyss Forbidden Area because he had received news that the greatest secret of the Abyss was in this forbidden area. Legend had it that the Demon Lord had obtained endless benefits after entering the Abyss Forbidden Area and became the strongest existence that suppressed the other Abyss Kings. Therefore, the Abyss Forbidden Area had been the dream of countless fiendish demons. Even though this place was extremely dangerous, the benefits that could be obtained were also great. Unfortunately, this place had long been sealed by the Monster Demon Palace. Besides the higher-ups of the Monster Demon Palace, other fiendish demons weren't qualified to enter at all. If a fiendish demon was discovered to have sneaked in, he would definitely die without a complete corpse and be immediately chased out of the Monster Demon Palace. Xia Ping wanted to obtain great authority in the Monster Demon Palace so that he could enter the Abyss Forbidden Area. He wanted to enter and see what secrets were hidden inside. However, the Night Devil King actually said that the Abyss Forbidden Area was about to open and that many fiendish demons had the opportunity to enter it. This immediately made his heart palpitate. He immediately felt that this was a great opportunity. The opening of the Abyss Forbidden Area? Could it be that the Abyss Grand Competition that happens once every 10,000 years is about to begin? An ancient fiendish demon couldn't help but ask. The so-called Abyss Grand Competition was hosted by the Monster Demon Palace. It was a martial competition that was held once every 10,000 years. However, such a martial competition wasn't like the arena competition of humans. Instead, all the fiendish demons were placed in an extremely dangerous environment, and they would kill each other. This way, the fiendish demons that could survive would be the strongest. They advocated killing without any rules. No matter what methods were used, anyone who could survive in such an environment must be the strongest demon. No one could deny that. If anyone could get a good ranking, they would definitely be rewarded by the Fiendish Demon Palace. They might even be greatly nurtured. Of course, the rewards and the competition were all secondary. These fiendish demons loved to kill the most. After all, they were not allowed to kill under normal circumstances. They could only move about according to the rules and regulations. This had long made many fiendish demons unable to hold back. And this martial arts competition was a competition to legally kill other demons. In the process of the competition, one could use any means to kill the enemy. This way, they would not have to bear any responsibility. Thus, one could imagine the fervor of the other abyssal demons. Every time it was held, countless abyssal demons would be excited. No way, it's going to start again. But wasn't only held once 6,000 years ago? The deadline of 10,000 years hasn't been reached yet. So why is it being held in advance? Some abyssal demons were confused. In the past, the deadline had always been 10,000 years, without missing a minute or a second. But now, the deadline had been brought forward by several thousand years. Many abyssal demons were stunned. There's no need to be confused, because this is the Demon Master's order. The Night Devil King said. The reason is very simple. The Demon Master wants to select the strongest warriors as the vanguard, and this martial arts competition is a very good opportunity. If anyone can get a good ranking in this competition, they will be entrusted with heavy responsibilities in the Fiendish Demon Palace. They might even become a general and lead a tribe. What? Hearing this, many abyssal demons were extremely excited. This was indeed a great opportunity. If they could get the Demon Master's recognition, they would be able to rise by 3 levels and obtain supreme authority. An authority represented power, wealth, and resources in the abyss. No abyssal demon would let go of such a great opportunity. This was an opportunity to become a fish that leaped through the dragon's gate. However, I have to tell you in advance that this competition is extremely dangerous. The venue will be in the Abyss Forbidden Area. Even demigod fiendish demons will die in that place, let alone other fiendish demons. If you are careless, all the participating abyssal fiendish demons might die. The Night Devil King said in a low voice. Abyss Forbidden Area? Instantly, many abyssal demons seemed to have been splashed with a bucket of cold water. They calmed down from their frenzied state. It was indeed as the Night Devil King said. If they weren't strong enough, they might die in the Abyss Forbidden Area instantly. Even if they were strong enough to protect themselves, they might still die if they were careless. Because the danger of the Abyss Forbidden Area didn't only come from other abyssal demons, but also from the Forbidden Area itself. And there are almost no restrictions on the strength of the martial arts competition this time. Besides abyssal kings, all demons of other levels can participate, the Night Devil King continued. What? Many demons' faces turned green. If there were no restrictions on strength, and all abyssal demons of different levels were in the same arena, then why would the weaker abyssal demons compete? Wouldn't they be sending themselves to their deaths? Most likely, the main characters of this competition would be the immemorial demons. All the other demons were just there to serve as foils. If the other abyssal demons overestimated themselves and wanted to participate, they would be courting death. No wonder the martial arts competition this time was to select an abyssal commander. If the abyssal commander was an immemorial demon, then the other abyssal demons naturally wouldn't have any objections. Moreover, the abyssal demons would be even more convinced that the abyssal demon would be chosen in such a competition. This competition was probably a general mobilization before the war. The goal was to select a suitable abyssal demon commander that could suppress the other abyssal demons wholeheartedly. Such a selection method also made the other abyssal demons feel that it was very fair. To select an abyssal commander, Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and couldn't help but reveal a frightening glint. His emotions flickered. His guess was right. The abyssal war was getting closer and closer. Moreover, it was advancing steadily, as though it had its own timetable. If he continued to dilly-dally like this, the war would really start. Chapter 2744. If any of you wish to participate, feel free to register. The registration period is 2 hours, and there's no limit to the number of participants. However, the registration will end after 2 hours. The Night Devil King said, indicating that the registration could begin now. There was no limit to the number of participants. Many demons looked at each other. Although there was no limit to the number of participants, they all knew their limits. Without sufficient strength, they would only be cannon fodder. Entering would only mean death. Although they coveted power and fame, they weren't idiots. They wouldn't foolishly do something that would only lead to death. For a moment, many demons fell silent. They didn't intend to be the first to stand out. I've long heard of the Forbidden Abyss. How can I miss out on this competition? At this moment, a primordial realm demon stood out. It was the deputy hall master of the demon palace. It was a multi-eyed spider demon that emitted a chilling dark aura. Vaguely, thousands of eyes appeared on its body. Each eye seemed to contain a strange power. Ordinary demons wouldn't dare to look at it, or they would definitely be cursed. I'll participate too. There's something I need in the Forbidden Abyss. If we can gain the Demon Lord's recognition, it'll be of great benefit to us as well. Hall Master, I'll also participate. Count me in. At this moment, all the Primordial Realm demons signed up. However, Monica was the only one who didn't move. She didn't seem to have much interest in the competition. Other than that, some of the peak Primordial Realm demons who thought they were strong and had great survival skills also signed up. They didn't want to fight for a ranking. They just wanted to see the Forbidden Abyss. In the blink of an eye, more than half of the time had passed. Soon, the 2 hours were up. Apart from these high-level demons, the low-level demons didn't sign up. After all, they knew their limits. Looks like there are no more demons signing up. The Night Devil King swept a glance at the surrounding demons and said indifferently, "Wait, Lord Night Devil King." At this moment, the Deputy Hall Master, Nine-Armed Lion Demon Jintutin, stood out and said to the Night Devil King, Jintutin, what do you want?" The Night Devil King indifferently looked at the Nine-Armed Lion Devil Jintutin. "It's like this. I want to recommend a young genius from the monstrous demon palace to participate in the competition of the Abyss Forbidden Area. If he doesn't participate, I'm afraid that our monstrous demon palace will lose a lot of luster." The Nine-Armed Lion Devil, Jintutin, smiled faintly. He wanted to recommend a young devil to participate. "Oh, a fiendish demon that even you, the Nine-Armed Lion Demon Jintutin, admire? Just which fiendish demon is so capable?" Hearing this, the Night Devil King couldn't help but become interested. Perhaps Lord Night Devil King knows this demon. He is Miss Monica's partner, Flower Devil Austin. The Nine-Armed Lion Devil, Jintutin, faintly smiled, his eyes revealing a deep cold glint. "What?" The moment he said this, all the fiendish demons present were shocked. They didn't expect the Nine-Armed Lion Devil Jintutin to mention this despicable pretty boy at this time. Furthermore, the Nine-Armed Lion Devil Jintutin actually wanted to recommend this pretty boy to participate in the Abyssal Forbidden Ground tournament. This was simply unbelievable. Monica's beautiful eyes also revealed a glimmer of light as she stared at the Nine-Armed Lion Devil Jintutin. She could feel the other party's malicious intent. After all, Flower Devil Austin was only an immortal fiendish demon and belonged to the category of low-level fiendish demons. If he participated in this Abyssal Forbidden Ground tournament, wouldn't he be courting death? Even if one used their knees to think, One could imagine this nine-armed lion devil Gentutin's malicious intent. She wanted to say something, but the Night Devil King waved his hand and said, "Interesting. I've also heard of this brat. To be able to obtain my daughter Monica's favor, I wonder what kind of young fiendish demon he is. This king originally returned to the Rock Demon City to kill him, but if he has the strength and courage to participate in the abyssal Forbidden Ground tournament, then it's not impossible for him to be together with my daughter." The moment he said this, it was earth-shattering, causing many fiendish demons to be shocked. For what the Night Devil King said, if this brat participated in the abyssal Forbidden Ground tournament, he might recognize this brat's status. Although this brat might not be able to return alive from the abyssal Forbidden Ground tournament, just the fact that he was recognized by the Night Devil King was enough to incite the jealousy of countless fiendish demons. After all, this was a great opportunity to reach the heavens in a single step. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In an instant, Xiaoping became the center of attention on the square. Countless fiendish demons shot envious and jealous gazes at him. Each of them wished they could tear him into pieces. These two old fellows. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. How cunning was he? How could he not understand the intentions of the Night Devil King and the nine-armed lion devil Gentutin? They were clearly using both carrot and stick to force him to participate in the abyssal Forbidden Ground tournament. There was no need to talk about the nine-armed lion devil Gentutin. This old thing might have suspected him of being related to his son's death, so he suspected him and wanted to take the opportunity to kill him during the tournament. As for why the Night Devil King wanted to kill him, it might have a lot to do with Monica. But no matter what the reason was, there was no doubt that these two old things wanted to force him to participate in the abyssal Forbidden Ground tournament. But in reality, he had wanted to participate in the abyssal Forbidden Ground tournament. After all, if he wanted to enter the abyssal Forbidden Ground tournament, he wouldn't be able to do so without sufficient authority. He didn't know how long it would take, so he wouldn't miss this rare opportunity. Thinking to this point, Xiaoping stood up and said, "Lord Night Devil King, Lord Gentutin, in reality, I've wanted to participate in the abyssal Forbidden Ground tournament for a long time. I didn't expect to be recommended by the two of you. I'm truly honored." Hearing this, the pupils of the Night Devil King and the nine-armed lion devil Gentutin shrank. They didn't expect this brat to agree so easily. According to their expectations, this brat should have refused in every possible way. Then, they could use the crime of disrespect to punish this brat harshly and banish him to another place. Out of sight, out of mind. However, this young man had unexpectedly agreed, and they were at a loss for what to do. But they were still cunning, fiendish demons. Although they were dazed for a moment, they quickly reacted and recovered their previous shrewdness. "I didn't expect your courage to be so commendable. My daughter didn't misjudge you." The Night Devil King could only say this. Chapter 2745. This has nothing to do with courage. Xiaoping said casually. "Oh, what do you mean?" The Night Devil King asked curiously. "Because the competition will be held in the Abyss Forbidden area. That place is extremely dangerous. If you're unlucky, even the Night Devil King will die, let alone the other demons. I, Austin, am not talented. I can't do anything else, but my luck is very good. Perhaps this competition in the Forbidden Abyss is tailor-made for me," Xiaoping said with a smile. "What?" Hearing this, the Night Devil King's face darkened a little, and the corner of his mouth twitched a little. This bastard really couldn't spit out anything good. What did he mean by even he would die if he entered the forbidden area of the abyss? These were the words of a demon. Wasn't this blatantly cursing him? This was simply audacious to the extreme. However, he couldn't refute anything because the Abyss Forbidden Area was indeed a dangerous place. Even the Abyss King would be wary of it and not dare to approach it. However, this guy was really thick-skinned. He even dared to say that this competition was tailor-made for him. How thick-skinned did he have to be to dare say such a thing? Could it be that this was how his daughter was pursued? Thinking of this, he felt that he shouldn't let this bastard stay with his daughter. Otherwise, his daughter would be miserably tricked by this kid. "Austin, I didn't expect you to be so courageous. Looks like this palace lord will have to get closer to you after entering the abyss forbidden area so that we can take care of each other. The nine-armed lion devil, Jintutin, narrowed his eyes, and an unknown killing intent flickered in his eyes. However, he didn't show it. If they really entered the abyss forbidden area, killing each other wouldn't be a crime. He could easily kill this kid and figure out what happened to his son. No need. I hate being with men. If you go for an operation, I might be able to accept it. Xia Ping said disdainfully. What? Hearing this, the nine-armed lion devil Jintutin immediately went crazy, and his face turned red. He was the deputy palace lord of the demon palace, a primordial demon. How dare this bastard talk to him like this and ask him for an operation? If the night devil king wasn't here, he would definitely hammer this bastard to death. Hee. Since that's the case, I wish you good luck. The nine-armed lion devil Jintutin took a deep breath and forced himself to calm down. He didn't want to be too impulsive and beat this kid to death. He would endure it for now. After entering the abyss forbidden area, he would let this kid know why flowers were red. Cough, cough. All right, since there are no more demons signing up, the meeting will be adjourned. The night devil king coughed. He felt that if this brat continued talking, the nine-armed lion devil Jintutin would probably go berserk. Even he could not control the urge to beat this brat up. On the second day, the news that Xia Ping had registered for the competition in the Forbidden Abyss land spread throughout the fiendish demon palace in the blink of an eye. All the fiendish demons knew about it, and they were all discussing it. No way. This kid actually dared to sign up for the Abyssal Forbidden Area competition? What a joke. I heard he completed a mission and killed a near ancient realm sand demon. Maybe he thinks he has some ability and wants to try his luck. Luck my ass. This is the competition of the Forbidden Abyss, not something else. The Forbidden Abyss is full of dangers. Even the Abyssal Kings have to be careful. This pretty boy wants to go in and try his luck. I'm afraid he's crazy. I heard that this kid had no choice but to participate in the Abyss Forbidden Zone competition. Lord Night Devil King said that only if he can come out alive from the Abyss Forbidden Zone competition can he be with Lord Monica. Haha, stupid pretty boy. He must be dumbfounded now. He thought he could live off a woman for the rest of his life. Who would have thought he would be forced by the Night Devil King like this? Looks like he's dead meat. Not necessarily. It's said that Lady Monica is very anxious this time. She's practically burning with impatience. She found a bunch of life-saving treasures and gave them to that pretty boy so that he can come out of the Forbidden Abyss alive. Damn it, why is this gigolo's luck so good? He actually managed to latch onto Lady Monica's thigh. If Lady Monica really goes all out to help him, coupled with the many treasures she possesses, he might really be able to leave this place alive. The demons in the abyss discussed. They didn't expect Flower Devil Austin to really dare to participate in the competition in the Abyss Forbidden Area. This was beyond their expectations. Some demons were gloating. They thought this kid was dead meat. He couldn't come back alive. Some demons thought he might really have a chance to come back alive with Lady Monica's help. At that time, he might reach the sky in one step. No matter which fiendish demon it was, they all felt that Austin was simply lucky to be able to be a gigolo to such an extent. All of them were extremely jealous. At this moment in Xia Ping's residence, Monica also arrived at the mansion's hall. She said apologetically, "I'm sorry, Master Austin. I didn't expect Father to force you to do such a thing. If you don't want to, we can immediately run away and not participate in this Abyssal Forbidden Area tournament. We can run to a place where Father can't find us." She wanted to elope with Xia Ping. No need. It's just a competition in the Abyss Forbidden Area. It's nothing. What? Do you think I will die in this so-called Abyssal Forbidden Area competition? Xia Ping glanced at her. He finally found this chance to enter the Abyss Forbidden Area. How could he leave like this? Wasn't that stupid? No. I don't think so. I'm just a little worried. But it's great that Lord Austin is confident. Monica said immediately. That's great. Women shouldn't care about men's matters. Just stand at the side obediently. Understand? Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back. I understand. Monica looked at Xia Ping with admiration. But if Sir Austin can get a good ranking in this Abyssal Forbidden Area tournament, then even Father won't be able to stop us. What stop? I will replace him sooner or later. So what if he's the Night Devil King? Xiaoping said calmly. He said it in a matter-of-fact tone. This was a very normal thing for him. Hearing this, Monica's heart thumped wildly, and her face turned red. Sure enough, Lord Austin's current appearance was too enchanting. He was practically a demon among demons.